Eddie, I made you host and you killed everybody. You shut the whole thing down.
Hey, I had to go comb my hair. What?
Which one?
That one on the side. I only got one long one. I'd wave it over and slick it down.
Thank you for letting me recording.
Recording.
It's recording. Yeah, we're good.
Half hour now. I'm gonna be here a half hour.
No, you're only going to be here half hour, Brenda? That doesn't seem like enough time.
Oh, really?
No, sorry, I forgot to mute myself. My grandson was wanting to know when his mom was going to be here.
I thought you were going to make some more coffee.
You mean hot water?
or donuts. She had donuts or cookies. Wait.
No.
I got my coffee.
A birthday cake.
No, ain't doing that either. I got everything for birthday but a cake.
I was doing burritos.
Maybe let's check this week, and I spent most of it on myself.
Well, my wife took me to dinner today because yesterday was our 32nd anniversary. And
Congratulations.
thank you. She earned it.
Congratulations.
Happy anniversary.
Condolences for her.
Congrats.
She took me around the corner to a little restaurant in the neighborhood that we used to eat at pretty regular, but I wasn't real cool about the people in there. But tonight I had a salad that I could hardly eat. If you look at me, there's a lot of times there's anything I can hardly eat. I mean, that thing was nice. She treated me good.
Cool.
But treated me well. Which way is?
When my wife takes me out, it's to Mac's Lounge.
Max?
Yeah, home with the Big Mac.
Okay, because I've eaten at the Have It Your Way restaurant and it was all right.
Our favorite local restaurant shut down with the COVID.
So many, I don't believe a lot of them will recover. It was a very terrible impact for small businesses.
We had one in Grove City, little Italian trattoria. Very few things on the menu, but it was just out of this world. And she retired, closed it down. I don't know if anybody's going to open it or not. It's tough because we don't want to drive an hour to go eat.
Okay.
The first 5 years of my marriage, I was taking my wife to Carl's Jr. for our anniversary. I was such a cheapskate.
That's okay. Me and wife got married day after Thanksgiving, and then they invented Black Friday. We don't go out Black Friday, so we always had to pick another day.
They call that frugal. You're saving money for the important things in marriage.
Right,
Like
Her
wood burning.
shotgun when she's mad at you.
right.
Jeff Foxworthy had a comment. He said, took his wife out to eat dinner and it was their anniversary. And he said, oh, heck, it's our anniversary. Just supersize it.
Hello. Can anyone hear me? I guess they can.
I'm
I can hear you. Yes, we can.
Yeah, this is Ray Worthley. I'm on the phone for audio and under just on my computer for the video. But just a housekeeping thing. When they put me on the map, I think they put me on at Hot Springs, Arkansas. And I'm actually in Hot Springs Village, Arkansas, which is a different location.
Okay, I'll check that one out.
Webmaster, the master, he'll take care of it.
Thank you.
So
We really, for the new members that don't follow that, if you put where you live at into our website, there's a contact form on the website. Put where you live at. Dave Rhodes, he's our webmaster to one of the finest websites in wood turning. And he'll add it on there so you can see where we are. And we're all over the world, all over the world.
Well, hey, I've got a question I was hoping to ask sometime today, and maybe now's a good time to do it.
Sounds good.
Does anybody besides me, have a wrestling match with their banjo regularly? I take this thing apart and clean it and adjust it like once a week, and I still have to wrestle and fight with it to get it to move around properly. Is that
What I do, Brent, is I take steel wool to my lathe bed and to the underside of my banjo, And then I spray it with a silicone lubricant. The one I'm using is called Lamy-Lube, but you can do that with, you know, paste wax or any of the other, there's a bunch of other similar products. And what that does is I spray both the bottom sections of my banjo that contact the lathe bed and the lathe bed, and it protects things from rust and it helps things move faster. And when I'm turning wet wood or spraying sanding sealer on the lathe, I get a lot of crud buildup, so I have to do that regularly. And by regularly, I mean at least once every 2 weeks.
You also have to look at the mechanics of the tool the tool rest when you pull it out to clean it. There's normally a tube. It's a ram lock tool that you break it out of axis to lock it down. If that tube has got crud on it of any kind, it won't slide. And you can't grease it to slide. You have to clean it to slide. And a lot of time we don't see where those things go and where the fibers and paste and everything else will migrate underneath in the venturis. So when mine acts up, it's a pain in the butt. You got to slide it off, flip it over, and take a little wire brush to it and clean it up. I tried that too.
Yeah, I actually cleaned it last night, and I haven't put silicone on it, but I put paste wax, like just Johnson's paste wax, on the bottom of the banjo and on the lathe bed and such. And I think it's just a very poorly designed banjo, honestly.
Well, my banjo also, I had to unscrew mine a little bit. When I first got the lathe, it was a little too tight. So, you know, I mean, when I go to do the lock, you know, it should lock. And when you unlock it, it should, you know, you reach a point where it should move smoothly. So if it's not moving smoothly when it's unlocked, then maybe it's just a little too tight. And I had a little nut I could, you know, undo and give it a little more distance.
Introduced me to a product called Slip It, SLIP, it, and you find it on Amazon. And I've been using that on my bedways and all, and it holds down on the surface rust. And the banjo, you can slide it around with 2 fingers. So you might want to look at that. Slip It. It's found on Amazon, and it's a great product. It seems like.
What Eddie's talking about, though, you also need to look at, because I've had problems. I have a one-way, and I have to clean mine occasionally. There's a bar that runs underneath that when you operate your tightening mechanism, moves. And there's a nut in there of some description. Mine is square. Mine's just it's a square bar and a square nut that locks the tool down. If that's not clean, if that bar's not clean and that nut's not cleaned on it, it won't slide freely, and you can't see it without totally removing your banjo. It's totally up underneath it. So it's hard to get to clean it, but occasionally that'll get gummed up. And if it does, it will not slide back and forth worth a damn.
That's what I was talking about, Trey, but also if you're looking at the tool rest and you're looking at the bed of lathe, you're looking at one contact surface. Think about the other contact surface. Underneath the bed of the lathe, there's going to be a notch, and that's where that keeper is going to ride through. If that keeper catches up with glue, paint, crap, anything else like that, it can't slide if it makes that contact. As soon as it bumps into something, it goes cattywampus, that's a technical term, goes cattywampus and jams up. So if you clean that, and it's really easy to slide your tool rest down on one end, take a regular wood chisel, go underneath the lathe and run it along, and you'll be shocked at what comes off. Then steel wool it off. And you don't have to grease it. That's the important thing. Don't grease it. That's how I feel about it. And these people that spray that W stuff all over the lathes, they're only looking for trouble. I'll take the lawsuit. They're only looking for trouble.
You don't want to use the W stuff. That does exactly opposite of what you want it to do.
It leaves a film behind that is some kind of fish belly oil. That's what I believe, but it will attract dust. It will cake up. I really found that Boeing T9 spray I get at the saw company that they put on saw tables and all. I love it. I don't think I have any of that W stuff in my shop anymore.
It's good to kill wasps with.
I'm sorry?
Say what?
The WD-40 stuff, it's good to kill wasps.
I didn't use the term WD-40. Okay, I'm going to wreck on it.
I've done all of that stuff. The only thing I haven't done is what Trey was. I think maybe Trey might be on something. I might need to look deeper into that interior, that banjo. I pull it off regularly. I every time I do this, it's got a 1 1/8 inch nut on the bottom of it. I remove the nut, take the whole darn thing off, and cleaned everything and such. But maybe internally there's something a little farther that's binding up. So I might need to look at that.
The way it works is an off-center cam.
Yeah, it's cam.
Bar, when you turn the bar, it goes off center, and that applies the downward pressure on the tube that is making your slide. That tool is what won't move. And you can look at it and look pretty good. And I wouldn't break it down. I would just clean it. I had somebody tell me one time they took the tool off and polished it out. No, it's that rod.
Really,
What kind of lathe do you have?
it's a Laguna 1836. I'm thinking about
Is it
buying
a
it.
washer?
I'm sorry.
Is it a washer? Is it a washer bottom, or is it a square or rectangle piece of metal with
Big red
some
step
offsets in?
kind of thing. So
Yeah, make sure that when you take the nut off, make sure that that slides back and forth underneath. You know, maybe it's just a little too tight, and the bedways are a little too tight, and there's rubbing. Does it have problems sliding only one area?
oh no, it's everywhere. It's in,
Okay, because we had some problems with the cheap Chinese knockoffs, and what we found out is that the thickness of the bedways was different towards the headstock. So you get it loose on one side, you go to get it, was binding up, and it was got to make it a little bit looser, and then the other side didn't tighten as well. So you had to kind of constantly play games back and forth. But I doubt that with a Laguna is your issue.
I'm real close to seeing if I can get a robust little fit on this thing. So
That's right. When you buy a good lathe, we'll help you out.
I'm kind of
Now,
Brett will
that's
say
not
one.
nice.
I think the
Here's
Laguna,
I'll get a good lathe.
Rule there.
Say again, Ronnie?
I said, I think we just broke the no butt rule there.
Yeah. I think so too. Also, the endorsement and disendorsement rule, yes. Hey, for you guys tuning in, it's 22 after the hour, whatever hour you get. And we've got a presentation tonight at 7 o'clock. Ronnie and I are continually talking about this CA finish technique. Well, I went over to Ronnie's yesterday, first time in over a year, because they wouldn't let me around the house. You know, you got the virus thing and all that stuff, and I'll eat all their food. So I went over to Ronnie's, and we did a demonstration using Parfix 3408. Is that it, Ronnie?
That's it.
Yeah, we did it. Ronnie did a demonstration. You'll understand it when you see the video of why we did what and how it came out. And I'm kind of glad I wasn't on camera the whole time, because it was rather embarrassing for me to see what he did that was so much better than what I'm doing and so much easier than I thought. I don't want to bust the video, but man, and next week, if we get to it, I'm going to bring over something that will do the other form of CA that I learned from a gentleman at Waco a couple of years ago. And I knew his name a few minutes ago, but I did, and that's when I got started on the CA, and it's been expanded. And what Ronnie's talking about, we're going to show you tonight. So there's no mystery. And if you say, well, that's going to take too long, how much time do you don't have? It doesn't take that long. We put a stopwatch on him, or he put a stopwatch on us.
Eddie, you still co-host. At the top of the hour, you're going to need to change the host.
I can't. Trey does.
Eddie, do you mind repeating the name of that substitute for the CA glue?
Oh,
Parfix
Ronnie, right? That's
3408.
Ronnie's going to jump in right now.
There you go. It's
Parfix 3408.
the name of it is Parfix number 3408. And also what you need the accelerator. It's a number 1144. When you get into the world of CA, you're getting into something different. So you need both products to work together. And hopefully we're going to have Mark Sillay on tonight Mark Sillay had something planned tonight, but he's still supposed to be with us. So in case you ask a question that I can't answer, maybe the master can answer you. So it's Parfix 3408 and the accelerator is 1144. There is,
Hey, can you put that in chat?
we sure will.
Yeah, and the contact information. Now, let me clear this up because it's going to come up. This is not a recommendation for this product. This is an explanation that there are products out there that will do this. It's not just this one product, but this is the one we tried. Just like I tried a one-way termite Halloween gouge the other day. I want to tell you about it because it was magnificent. In fact, a little bit of that comes up on this video in a little while. We will tell you what we have, but on this program, the credo when we form this organization is we will not be locked to any manufacturer. We're not sponsored. We're not obligated. We don't get anything free. So we're just going to promote the products that make sense to use when you're turning. So, Ronnie, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
That's okay.
I'm at my meeting here.
I've been using that Parfix stuff for the last month, I guess. I got it off of the man you told me to get it on Mark Sillay. And it's working very good because I'm making a whole lot of pens for this Freedom Pens project. And when I get the box filled with about 50 or 60, whatever the box holds, why I'm going to send it off.
Send it directly to Doug Rowe, correct?
Yes, that's right.
That's the way we win them to go.
Yeah. It'll be another week or so till I get the box filled.
You're going to do 50 pens in a week? Who are you? You're like Sergeant Joe Kelly, turn out 50 pens.
No. I only do about 4 a day. I've got most of them turned. I probably got 45 or 50 done.
You turn them and then you come back and finish them?
Pardon me?
You turn them and then you finish them? Am I misunderstanding?
No, I turn. When I turn the tubes, I turn them and finish them right at the same time with that Parfix.
Okay. Great. We also had Jeff is our safety director is with us. Jeff, when we do the safety moment tonight, we had I had a call in today from a gentleman, and he's going to be with us in a little while about a break on a gouge. And he'd like when you want to do the safety meeting in a minute, if he's online, I'd like him to share this story because we're going to hear from wood turners about wood turners problems, and we might not be able to solve them, but I need you to be aware of them because something that maybe he did, a weight he was using, or what he was using, I'll be careful about that, led to this problem. And I think he walked away without a major injury. So, and that's why that's what we're here for, sharing information. And this is Worldwide Wood Turners. WorldwideWoodTurners.org is our website. And if you like to get a hold of us, there's a website, an email contact on the website, but our email contact directly to us is worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com. Gmail.com is our website address.
Email.
I'm sorry. I'm looked over here and saw website and brain went to the shortcut. All right. Last week, I announced that I would send some Worldwide Woodturner stickers out. I had about 100 a gentleman made for us, and I traded for them last year, gave them some merchandise, and he sent them to me. And I do believe management tells me tonight I have 20 or 25 still left. If we go to Dane Chandler, let me see. Let me highlight Dane. Can't even find him.
I'm here.
All right, see the sticker on his tailstock? Go back to him.
I got
there
it.
He comes. Look, see the sticker on his tailstock? That's what I'm talking about right there. Worldwide Woodturners. Yep. So if you like to have one, here's the deal. Here's the deal. I got to put it this way. It's a deal. if you like to have one, I'll send you one for free. Because our membership sent me some money to pay the postage. I traded for the decals. They paid for the postage. By mistake, one of my vendors, I have the envelopes. And I'll do all this. You got to send me your address. And that means, Ron Todd, you asked me for one. What am I going to do with it? You have to give me your address. So if you want one, send it to the club email address, worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com, and give me your address like it appear in an envelope coming to you. Because I'm just going to copy it and paste it, send it to the post office. And she did, I got them at 58, did 58 this week. And so we got about 25 or 30 left, and we'll send them out. And then we'll see if we can work out a deal for some more. And the next ones won't have .com, it'll have .org on it. But just like Dane did, he just peeled off the .com, and it looks pretty good. I got one in the back window of my truck. All right.
Hey, Eddie, thank you.
What's that? Hey, Johnny.
Yeah, I got mine today.
All right.
There you go.
Pretty good, good. Just out to help folks.
I want to mention Hot Springs Village is on the map. You have to zoom in to see it because it looks so close to Hot Springs Village. You can't see it if you're not looking for it. So whoever mentioned that a few minutes ago, please know that you are there. Just zoom in a little on the map and you'll see it.
That is service. Isn't that service? Wow. Okay, here's the other deal. Are you sitting with us tonight by yourself? Are you turning buddies tuned in? I saw this today on an old commercial. Are you turning buddies tuned in? Call them and tell them. You can join worldwidewoodturners.org, and you don't have to pay a membership fee. You don't have to send us any money, but if you do, it's nice. But if you want to be a member, you're welcome. I had a call from a guy today, said, hey, I like your show. I belong to such and such, and I understand I can only belong to one club at a time. Hey, Ronnie, when did you pass that rule?
That's what they want you to believe. This is America. We can belong to as many clubs as we feel free.
That's right, and that's what we want. I mean, look, Johnny uses that. He belongs to another club. Trey's there. He belongs to another club. Dane's there. He belongs to a club. Trey's there. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So, hey, call those folks, them wood turners, and tell them, come on in. We can handle up to 300 people a week, and that's a lot of people sharing ideas. It's not the number. It's the ideas. Because every week you go home with something to think about. That's why we're here. And it won't be exclusive. Everybody's got a fair shot. You know, I wanted to elect Ronnie president, but he didn't want to take the pay raise. So, yeah.
We got 77 members online right now.
And it's a half an hour before we start. Okay, we're okay. I think we're all right.
I see the doctors in the house. Mark Sillay came in, and I was talking to Mark Sillay yesterday, and Mark Sillay said he's even learning things from our club. So when you can teach Mark Sillay something, we must be doing pretty good.
You know, when we stop learning, we stop growing. Mark knows that.
Yeah, was Mark sleeping still, or is he awake yet?
He just looks like he's napping. Don't worry about him. He's all right.
Okay.
Hey, I'm always getting things in. I'm always getting things in from viewers and members of the club and people from YouTube and Facebook and all that. And this week I was shocked. We talk about freedom pens, and we're collecting freedom pens to send to our troops. You're not aware of the program. It's a great one. You turn a pen, you send it to our first sergeant puts it in a troop's hand, and that means a troop protecting your freedom and the rights of this world. So, but we do this, and this week I was shocked. One of our turners, John Brutch, B-R-U-C-H, he's a special agent, or was a special agent for the FBI, sent me this little trinket. This is a pen he received on his retirement.
Wow, that's nice.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And for him to give this up, I mean, this is absolutely gorgeous. I don't cry very often. It happened on this one. But that's beautiful, John. Really appreciate it. It's kind of things wood turners do for other wood turners, and that's why we're doing this. Index wheels. A couple of weeks ago, we had an offer from one of our members to provide a file, and I don't know the letters for the file, that it's a file that you put in your CNC or such, create your own index wheel. We still have that. It's available on our website, our awesome website director. Place that file on the website. You don't have to pay for it. There's no licensing. None of that. If you've got the device to make this with, you can get the pattern absolutely free. Now, and that's on our website. Now, we won't put things on our website like that as we get them. I just have to mention that if it's copyrighted by somebody else or restricted or whatever, we can't do it. We can probably link you over to the site where it's at, but we won't be able to put it on ours. We don't break the law. We just want to help you out. And we're still shopping around for demos. If you'd like to do a demo for us, just like we'll see at 7 o'clock with Ronnie and CA Glue, you are welcome to be part of this program. The other day, counted up, we've done 53 demonstrations since we came on this year. 53. I'm disappointed. I thought we did 109. But we had some of the best turners in the world join us. I mean, we still do have the best turners in the world with us. And we always attracting more. So if you'd like to be part of the program, it's there. Remember, we have a website, a YouTube, a Facebook, this program. If it's out there in wood turning, we're there. I'm very proud of that. You make my day. Okay, what else we got coming up tonight? Do we get a weather report from anybody?
It's warm here. All my snow's melted.
Is your grass green?
What's grass? What's green? No, we're brown. None of the trees are leafing.
Sunshiny here.
Okay.
It was
nice here.
We had a front coming through tonight. It's supposed to be pretty nasty weather in about 2 hours.
I had to turn the air conditioning on in my truck this afternoon.
You remember what knob it was?
Only have 4 weeks when I don't have to use it.
We were on the edge of the big snowstorm this past weekend, and it mostly melted today. So,
Eddie, it looks like you're going to get that front in the next hour, brother.
Me?
Yeah, you.
I think so. I can't go to it because I got all the computers tied up on this. But
it's not here. It's not in Homa yet, so you're all right.
Okay. Billy's going to get it first. If we see water come up, to about here on Billy, I'm turning everything off and going to bed.
Yeah, we had snow flurries from that thing on Saturday.
Yeah, I had some of that this morning.
Well,
snow.
Who did corned beef today?
Well, at least we didn't get like 4 feet like Denver did, man.
It's always
hard. Got it.
Shut down like Texas was.
Yeah, I got friends outside of Denver who are like, it's waist high in this last storm.
Steve McKelly says he's got 3-foot snow drifts. I can't read where, but
Canada.
they're just getting
Colorado.
Colorado.
Yeah.
How's it looking up in Canada, Kade?
Pretty good here. All the snow is melted off the ground. It's been fairly nice the past week. It's supposed to be plus 14 Celsius on Sunday, so I might get out paddleboarding on the water. The ice is frozen, so it's game on to go paddleboarding.
You're about ready for mosquitoes up here, ain't you, Kade?
Pardon?
Just have a life jacket, right?
Oh yeah, life jacket and a wetsuit. And don't plan on
you're a brave man.
jumping in.
What scares me is he's also a wood turner. That really scares me. Okay, I just saw something from somebody on the chat about I keep telling my other club, but they keep confusing with that copycat site, and they don't want to pay dues for more clubs. You don't pay here, and if you're paying, who are you paying?
Me. Send the checks to me.
I expect Doug Rowe to do that.
Yeah, right.
We gotta get a pretty good bit of chat on there tonight. And remember, the chat is is unlimited. See, we can't give all the details about where you can buy something and what we prefer and what we use and all, because we're staying very isolated, independent. But if you want to tell somebody about something like the Parfix 3408 or how to contact Mark Sillay and his home phone number, things like that, it's all on the chat. So unlike what I did last week, before you sign off, save the chat. Fortunately, I didn't. I had two computers running. After I shut one down, I realized on the other I could go over and do it. But save the chat. It's a lot of information on there. And tomorrow when you go, what did they say? You can see it. And I think Dave, our webmaster, he actually got our, oh, he always does, but he got our program up online, including the demonstration last week. It's all available on our website and on our YouTube channel. Yeah, we had on the YouTube channel too. So you can join us there. What's everybody turning? That's enough.
I made. I used one of. I've been prowling through. What's his name? As Wood Turns. Alan Stratton. Prowling through his videos, and he was making. He made a chuck. He made some wood jaws for his chuck. So I made some wood jaws for my chuck this week and drilled it out. I'm going to make some some spoons and ladles and stuff like that. I hope to get to it today, but I haven't done it yet. But Alan Stratton's got a whole bunch of really cool videos on stuff like that on his YouTube channel.
To make chuck adapters that go on your cold jaws or even your regular jaws. You can.
Yeah, I made them that went on my regular jaws. Yep.
It's handy for when you're holding things. Somebody told me the other day they wanted to turn some balls and they needed a ball chuck. Get some PVC and make one.
Yeah.
We have to do a video on that.
Jam chuck.
Yeah, I made some. Yeah, and you make a jam chuck. You just make one that fits over your tailstock, and it's got a cup that holds the ball, and you make one that goes in your chuck jaws, and it has a cup that goes on the ball, and you just jam it. And if you
I just got the tap. I tap mine where it fits my lathe, my 1 1/4 by 8 TPI lathe head. That is nice.
Yep.
And you do that to wooden faceplates too, but be careful what you choose.
And if you're worried about marring the piece, then you can, just glue some foam on there too. Walmart sells like $5 bunch of foam or that stuff.
Yeah, over. Look at this. This is from Office Max. It's foam.
Yeah.
1/8 foam. Yeah, it's awesome. Nobody has mouse pads anymore because of laptops, but it works really well.
Yeah, mouse pad will work well too, or router mat, or even those anti-fatigue puzzle piece mats you can get at Walmart. They work well too.
Yeah, Walmart sells a package of craft foam, and you get like 40 pieces of little closed cell foam, and that works really good too. It's cheap. It's like $5 for the package. Or I have a yoga mat. I cut up a yoga mat too.
Yeah, I can tell you're not using the mat, so okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Eddie?
No, you mean yeah.
Eddie?
Yes.
This is Andy. While you're talking about foam, I was at Home Depot today. They just gotten in a big order of windows, and they're put on pallets. They're strapped down, and in between the straps, they have like 3/4 inch foam, 6 inches wide, 4 to 8 foot long. And what do you do with this? I mean, it's a fairly high density closed cell foam. And they said, "Oh, we throw it away. There's no need for it." I said, "I'm coming back tomorrow to your dumpster, but you might check that out. It's free." So anyway, that's how they get their windows packed in.
One man garbage is another man's treasures.
I took all that stuff I can find.
Yeah, for sure. Same here. Cut up a yoga mat. Just don't tell the wife.
Well, they're cheap at Walmart too, so you didn't have to tell the wife. Just go buy your own.
You'll be lucky if Home Depot allows you to have that. I used to work there, and we had to throw stuff away that you would not believe. and we could not put it out for people to use.
Oh, yeah, the liability's still there.
I think that stuff would find its way into my car somehow.
I asked them if it goes in their dumpster, and they said yes. And I said, okay, can I come by tomorrow to get it? Well, you know, we won't give it to you, but you can get it. So I don't know.
I got
Just
some
be
rubber
careful of
pieces
the
that-
cameras around all the dumpsters.
We didn't have dumpsters. We had one of those compactors buried down below the floor, so that may be a difference.
Yeah, they won't want you jumping into them.
My
We had
local
an
small,
entire,
Hey,
we had an
Moffett, how
entire
you-
pallet of brand new garbage cans. And
Well,
they-
you could jump in once.
And they told us to put it in the compactor, and we said, they're brand new. Why don't we give them to a, you know, help agency? Nope, can't do that. Have to throw them away and compact them.
Yeah, it's the liability of the product and what you do with it.
my local small motor repair people, the guys who repair lawnmowers and stuff like that, they do a thriving business in tire repair. So they're always throwing rubber tires and inner tubes out too. So I got a whole bunch of rubber tires that are perfect to make these like circular, you know, things like that fit inside the jaws of your truck or outside the jaws of your truck to cushion it too.
The trick is not to throw it away when you get done with it.
You could use them for vacuum chucks too. It's just the rubber might transfer some of the blackness to a light colored wood, but
Yep. But
you
that
can use
sands
it
right
on
off.
dark wood.
It's better
Sorry,
than
what did you say?
That sands right off. It's better than, or DNA will take it off. It's better than marring it with your chuck jaws. You know what I mean? With the
Yeah.
straight up metal.
Yeah, true.
And I found some sheets of rubber gasket material at O'Reilly's Auto Parts. It's maybe an eighth of an inch, and there's no dye or stain on it. It's a real good rubber product. And I've got a couple of chucks with that one lined up on it. I see we're going to have some 2x4s coming up this evening. Dane takes care of our gallery, and this is the way it works, folks. If you have an item you want to show on gallery, it's easy. You just put it in chat and say, hey, I've got something for gallery. And Dane will call on you. Dane does this, and he puts you up on the screen, and then we take a look at what you turn. And that's an important part of this project, is to see what you turn. And we're going to ask you, how big is it? What kind of wood is it? What finish do you have on it? And remember, we have a no but guarantee. We're not permitted to say, I like that, but there's no but. I like that, and that's all there is to it. So if you got something, put it in chat, and we got about 15 minutes before we start the program this evening with a demonstration. And if you get a couple in there, Dane will let me know, and we'll go right to them. And you're all invited to be part of this. Anything up, Dane?
Yeah, we got a few. Let me finish writing down this last name here. And we'll jump right into it.
All right.
If you folks haven't seen it, Kade should share his, I think he calls it incursion. He just posted on Facebook. What a beautiful piece he did with that.
Oh, man, look, they were nuts about that this evening, Kane. Nuts about it.
Thanks.
Kade, you feel like showing that right now?
I would, but unfortunately it has already gone out the door and it's in the customer's hands. So
okay.
I can't
no worries.
show it in solid form on camera, but I did have those pictures of it. So sorry about that. I have a couple other things though, but I'll throw my name in the chat. So I'm in the
okay, I got you down.
In the lineup.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, so let's go see Doug Miller in Kentucky. Doug.
Here I am.
There he is.
Last month, I showed you guys a piece that I did for a flower with the string pull. This time it's another bowl. There's the bottom side of it. I'm thinking this is sycamore. I'm not real sure. It's from a big chunk that I was given. Had no indication what it was. But this month's challenge was water, and so there you see water drops.
That is
so cool.
Ooh.
Can you
That
do a
bowl
quick
is-
demo on how you get the water drops on it?
Yeah, we can do that sometime. Yeah. That's it's another very simple process. It doesn't take a lot of time. So what takes time is putting the lacquer on top. You know, to do it right, you have to let it set before you knock it back real hard. But the more times you put lacquer on it and knock it back, the smoother and the shinier it gets. So that's what we did.
That's really pretty.
That is nice.
That
Hey,
is
look how slick
beautiful.
it is. It is
Looks like
some
real
slick.
raindrops.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. It looked like there's drops on it, even though there's not. You know, that's pretty flat across there. You can see the shine. It's pretty flat.
You did that with that airbrush, with actual water drops in the airbrush technique, Doug?
No airbrush.
Okay.
Okay, let's not steal this. Let's not steal this fire. I want to see this demo. Come on.
Yeah, I will look
Okay.
forward to seeing it then. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
I can do that.
That's
It
very
might be a
nice.
little long. Well, it will be a little longer than the string pull, but it's not that bad.
We're okay with that. I'm very happy with the string pull. Very happy. We
right.
got a lot of
That'll work
comments on
very
it this
nice.
week.
Thank you.
That'll
Eddie,
work. Thank you, Doug.
So,
Eddie,
yes, sir.
as I'm letting people in the door, I think we need to say something about this. I think this gentleman, I didn't catch his name, but this gentleman I think is first time in the house. He's from Alaska. So I think that's the first time we've ever had anybody from Alaska. So if you could come forth and tell us who you are and tell us how you found out about us.
You can talk. It's anytime you want. Okay, might be a little shy, but we can come back to him. I saw two from.
But when we say worldwide, we mean worldwide.
We really do. And if you think it's a clique, it's not a clique. It's not a gang. It's a bunch of wood turners. And I just saw two familiar names to you and I, Ronnie. They're up in the participant list right now. Welcome, gentlemen. It's good to see y'all with us. So,
Good.
anybody else, Dane?
All right, let's go to Atlanta. Ed, how you doing?
Good evening. I'm Ed from Atlanta. I'm a new turner. I am lucky enough to live near Mark Sillay. And
Nice.
so
Lead with a joke. That's it. Lead with a joke.
Don't brag.
I have to brag on that. But I do enjoy all of the demonstrations. And so here is something I made last weekend after the demonstrations of Dean, I believe.
Yes, Dean Grimes.
Yeah. And I tell you what, that's nice. That is some nice.
Very nice.
We're not supposed to say but the one on the left really's got some great color to it.
Well, that was an oak walnut tree that somebody gave me, and I took that to him the next day to give to him as a gift. Gave it away. Gave the first one away.
It's nice.
Good going, Ed.
I do have a question. What was the recommended sealer or for greenwood?
Anchor seal.
Anchor seal. Thank you.
No, it was Minwax antique oil that I use on those. Danish oil will work as well.
Minwax antique oil.
Yes, sir. It's a little harder to find than the Danish oil. You typically have to go to an Ace Hardware or something like that. Lowe's or Home Depot, neither one carry it.
So
they got
I ordered it off of Amazon.
So thank you for that demo. I've been wondering what to do with these small 3-inch logs that I have accumulated, and that is the solution.
That's nice. It's a great solution.
So I thank you for the demo, and I thank you for all the other demos. Thank you.
Hey, it's your wood turning club, bud. If you want to be in on it, you're in on it.
I appreciate the information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I'm glad you could do the message from your backyard. That's a beautiful backyard.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you now.
That's your backyard. You won't run out of bowls.
Hey, Brent.
Hey, how you guys doing tonight? Well, I also made one of Dean's crosses with the touch. This is just out of a little piece of box seller that's been laying on the floor for several months looking for a project. So that was just a fun little thing for one night. And then I was out in Powder River Basin here a couple weeks ago and driving down this back country road, saw a whole bunch of dead juniper laying around. So I threw a couple logs in the trunk and
Ooh,
little,
that's pretty.
Ooh,
That's
nice.
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 This,
Very
I'm
nice.
astonished with this stuff. I've been
Oh,
turning.
it looks horrible. You need to send it to me.
yeah, I think so. Protect it. We're going to protect you from it, John.
Yeah, that stuff's all toxic. You gotta mail
Yeah,
it
you
to
don't
me.
need that.
I'll dispose of it properly.
Let's all be gentlemen. Let's all be ladies and gentlemen and wipe the drool off our chins, please.
Exactly.
I'm just amazed at how beautifully this stuff turns. I've been turning cottonwood and aspen and stuff for months, and this stuff is just like a dream to turn on. It's like, so, but that ain't it at all. So I also took a chunk of it and did this.
Holy
There you go.
Wow.
So that was a challenge. I wanted to make it deeper, but cutting into end grain and such on this was quite a challenge.
That is cool.
You know, if you send that to Dane, he'll make it round.
Okay, we can do that.
Guaranteed.
What kind of wood is that again?
I'm sorry?
What kind of wood?
Juniper.
Yep.
Juniper, so.
It's extremely old. Counting these rings on here, this has got to be 300 years old and such. So,
Wow.
and the
Eddie,
stuff,
why don't you get your best friend a piece of juniper?
I can send you some juniper. I could get trucks loads of this stuff out here. It just lays around. So
Is that Juniperius virginiana, or is that something else?
I can't hear you, Matt.
Is that Juniperius virginiana, that you're calling it juniper?
I don't know.
It's the stuff with the little red berries.
Little
They sell it for
Aromatic
spices.
cedar.
Little blueberry.
Does it grow low to the ground? I guess that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, it doesn't real big. No, it's not the stuff that's on the ground. No, these are trees. They generally, after 300 years, they get to be 6-8 feet high.
Okay.
Kind of bushy.
That's about as old as Eddie.
Come on, man. Cut some slack here. Thank you, Brent. Appreciate it. Great show tonight.
You'll see.
Nice stuff.
That's
Dan,
all
we
right.
have one more before we go to our safety minute. Do we have that?
Yeah, let's do our two before contestant here.
All right. Who we got?
And it is Brenda.
Brenda?
Cocktails, Brenda.
Hey, Brenda.
There she is.
Hold your
Look at that
fingers
big
up
smile.
first. Any Band-Aids? No Band-Aids. All right.
Hey, she's not red either. Well, its cheeks are starting to get red now.
She's muted.
You're muted, Brenda.
You're muted.
What?
We can't hear you.
What?
Click on your little microphone.
I did.
There
Hi.
you go.
I'm here. Can you hear me now? I got an egg. Made another egg.
All right. It's a catering.
Pine. And I used the skew.
Nice.
Ah,
Oh, wow.
even better.
Yeah, so it's nice and smooth. But I didn't finish it because I think I'm going to paint it and make it look like an Easter egg, you know.
Yep.
That'd be nice.
I made another vase. And it's big though, because it's got the little thing in the middle of it. But I wanted to do the yarn flowers on it. So I wanted something big. So, but that's pine too. I used the skew on that too. Thing is nice and smooth.
All right.
Nothing hit the floor, nothing hit the wall. Nothing came off the lathe this week.
It's always a bonus.
And
Yes.
Dane, I think she earned it. It's up there.
All right. Let's go
see?
take a look. See.
You see it?
Double stick tape is working.
Look at that.
You spelled it wrong. Hey, Eddie,
What?
my last name is Thornton. T-A.
Well, this isn't for you.
Close.
All right. I can fix that, Brenda.
All right, thank you.
I can.
All right.
That
All
bottom.
right. All right.
Now I gotta find it.
All right. It took me forever to get in the 2x4 club, but I made it.
Hey, some of our new members don't
Let's go to
understand this.
safety and get safety out of the way for the first portion.
Oh, thanks. Hey, everybody. Hey, Dane last meeting asked me to talk about tool rest and tool posts and stuff. One of the big things, you know, especially when you're hogging some bigger, heavy stuff, you know, you should be staying to the center of the tool post and driving the force through the tool post down to, you know, tool rest down through the tool post. When you're on the edge, you're going to break them. You know, be careful. The other thing is, you know, you should have the tool post, you know, the tool post perpendicular laid, so that if you have some force, it's you know, all supported. Some people have a tendency to turn them sideways or on an angle, and on the small lathes they snap. They're going to break right off, and you're going to be an unhappy camper because it takes you a couple months to get more. Another thing is, you know, keeping your hands behind the tool rest. You see some of the professionals, they get underneath their fingers, but they're way away from the wood. But don't get sloppy because it's going to hurt if you get caught. Also, keeping the tool rest up to your turning, you know, as close as possible, or it makes sense with the type of tool you're working. You don't want to catch your finger getting between there. Once in a while, you see somebody get pinched. It's not fun. Another one I was watching, we were on a sharpening, and Nick Yeager was talking about sharpening and stuff. And you know, make sure you don't put your finger between the jigs and the wheels. It sounds like, oh, I never do that, but very quickly you're moving, you know, the thing sharpening back and forth, and you know, quickly you can get your finger in between. You might get lucky on a CBM wheels, but on those old, you know, real grinding wheels, you're probably not. You're gonna lose some skin. And as also, we wanted to talk about somebody's roughing couch incident tonight. Somebody broke a gouge. Is that person you don't want to talk about it, or?
I'm ready to go right now.
Oh, well, all right,
Okay,
go.
great. I'll mute myself. Thank you.
Who is
Everybody be
this?
safe out there, all right? Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Jeff.
Okay, my daughter Friday texted me, there's some wood down their street. You want to take a look at it? So Saturday I went over to it and picked out one log. It was 14 inches in diameter at one end and 12 at the other, about 16 inches long. Brought it home, split it with the chainsaw. So this is what we were starting with, and I'll show it again here in just a moment. Put it on the lathe between centers. I did have that on, so I was good there. But the instance is something that I think that if you don't hear something 2 or 3 times, you may not even remember. So I'm hoping that this might help others. Plus, we may try and get some input from some of the experts here, which there's a ton of them, on really what should be going on. I think I learned from it. But I was starting to turn it, and you could see the edges. And as I was turning, when you'd go from an area where in theory you could ride a bevel to a non, and then you'd come back around, and that was sometimes it would catch a fair amount. And I was using a gouge. It was a 1-inch. It was one that was in a set coming from the company starts with HF. The tools have been very good and all of that. The tool post was about an inch away from the wood where I was turning on it. And I did get a pretty good catch. So here was the tool that I was using. Pull the tape.
Oh, baby.
And so a couple of things that I would like to point out to people, you know, when you're turning something like this, it's not hollow. You figure that there's not going to be anything coming off of it. You better wear your safety gear, because the wood is not the only thing that will fly away. So the way it looks like, it broke right about where the tool post was. Oops, I got to get it up where you can see it.
Yep.
And it broke off. flew the other direction, because that coming at you, your safety shield should probably stop it or deflect it. But if it came to your chest or anything else like that, and I was wearing an apron also. So I was lucky and all of that. But for somebody else that's turning something large, use your safety shield too, because I will do it in earnest now, where I have been pretty religious in wearing it. I do intend, if I can get a little bit of input, I probably will go ahead and square this off or round it off. Where this was rounded, it had about a 35-degree angle on it. So I don't know if that is classified as a roughing gouge or if it's a large spindle gouge. So I don't know if that's a no-no for some people to say, oh, a true roughing gouge should not be used on end grain, which is what this would be.
It's a spindle roughing gouge, Gary.
Yeah.
This one here.
If it's got a tang that's not the same size as the tool, then it's a spindle gouge.
Yeah.
I think the fault is in the steel.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yes, it's a well, they classify it as high speed.
Yeah.
And
It's junk.
I'm sorry.
Be careful now. We can want to talk real bad about those HF tools.
Okay, but I don't think it's quality steel. This
Oh,
is
and remember,
what happened.
high-speed steel's got a very wide range.
Yes. Yeah, to where I've been doing a little bit of research looking for some of them that are on the internet, and there's at least one site that talks about M2. Is that a grade of the high-speed steel?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I would assume that that's a fairly high grade.
Yes.
Okay, so that may be what I'm looking at, but yeah, this was the very first set that I ever bought. It was when I got the lathe from them also, and it has done me quite well. But turning something this big with this, that's pushing the envelope.
Hey, this is Dean Grimes. I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
So when you were turning that and you were cutting, were you coming off of the tool rest directly into the edge of that blank?
This is where I think I was at a problem, because I was going up trying to semi-ride the bevel, because when we got out to the areas where I would be able to ride a bevel and then not, and then ride a bevel and then not, as it would turn. It would catch where I would be coming back to wood, and that's where it was catching. And
Can I say something?
So one of the things that I've been trying to get the message across to people, when you're turning a bowl blank, you never want to hang your gouge, regardless of what it is, whether it's a bowl gouge or anything else, directly across the tool rest and touch the outside edge of that spinning bowl blank, because when you do, about 70% of that is end grain. And people think it's just a little bit of end grain in the middle, but it's end grain most of the way around it.
Right.
If you will come to the edge and cut down the side of it, then you're cutting side grain all the way. And even with a gouge that you should have been using for that, you can get in trouble when you just go straight in off a tool rest into a bowl blank. And that's where you hear a lot about people getting tool rests broken even.
Mm-hmm.
so if my hand is the tool rest, you're saying this is straight in, or is this the angle, or are we talking about open, closed, or a 45?
You come into the side grain and across the end grain. You never go directly into the end grain.
Exactly.
The end grain is quite fibrous and grippy, so it will grip, grab, and that cutter end of that tool will bury itself in the end grain. And end grain is not forgiving. The side grain will break free. End grain won't. Right. So the tool had to break to give that give that relief.
And
Yeah,
that should be a valuable lesson for everybody, not just you. I mean, thank you for sharing that,
yeah.
because that can get somebody hurt and bad.
Well, so if my tool rest is right parallel with the edge of the bowl that I'm turning right now, even though it's going to be a rounded, you're saying don't go straight into the bowl, go
Exactly.
slightly at an angle.
No, start from the outside and go across.
Start at the top or bottom and shear cut it.
Yeah, slice it.
Okay, well that's what I was trying to do, but then you would come from here if you're riding the bevel here,
No.
and then you're not riding the bevel to where you get back around to here. And then,
Right, but again, with that tool presentation right there, you're essentially going straight in.
Right.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Can I
So-
say something?
So you'd want to can it, you'd be attacking it from an angle of, you know, somewhere between 30 and 45%.
are you
Okay.
saying
Whether you're going east or west on your cut, left or right, you're entering into it and you're pushing to the left, right in your bevel, or you're pushing to the right in your bevel.
okay,
All
so
right.
But
the way
it's
I've
not
got-
going to be straight in.
where I've got this laid in here, then I would go from, say, here this way.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's the way I was going.
But not with the tool in that position.
Yeah, no, because
Okay, what, explain, hopefully others may be having the same questions. How do you mean with this, not at this position?
The tool
Can I
should
say
be
something?
perpendicular to the piece. No, towards you.
this position.
Can
Mark
I
Sillay's
say
going to
something?
jump in here, guys, and Mark's slicing technique might be of great value to Gary.
Mark keeps trying to come in, but nobody will let him talk.
No, man, all right, Mark, go ahead.
Okay, the first thing I have to say, right, is this. That is a side grain bowl blank. You never use a spindle roughing gouge on a side grain bowl blank. You only use your bowl gouge. You do not use a spindle roughing gouge on a side grain bowl blank, ever,
Or any spindle
period.
gouge.
You only use it on end grain orientation. You do not use it on a side grain bowl blank, because it's going to bury itself like a chisel.
In the end grain.
So the gouge that I should be using should have the straight edge with
No.
because
No,
That's swept
use a
back
bowl
wing.
gouge on side grain work. Do not use a spindle roughing gouge on the side grain bowl blank, because it has a tang and it's going to bury itself, and your result is going to happen over and over again.
Mhm.
That's not the tool to use to rough out a side grain bowl blank.
so I would use a regular roughing gouge.
No, you use a
Use a bowl gouge.
Oh, gouge.
This guy's a fucking idiot.
Use a bowl gouge.
You should look at Mark Sillay's video on doing side grain bowls. That would show you a lot.
Can one of you show us a picture of that bowl gouge?
I have one right here.
There you go. Show us a picture of the tool that you should have been using.
Can you pop to that, Dane?
Yeah.
Do you have a wood turning club around? My suggestion is to go to a wood turning club and get a mentor that would show you the proper way to do that.
They're still closed.
So here's a bowl gouge, and a bowl gouge is for turning bowls, because a bowl gouge is drill drud, like drill stock steel. It's heated, it's tempered. The flute is cut out with a CNC, and the tang is the same size as your tool steel. This tang goes into the handle probably 4 inches. You could get a catch with this. It might bend, but it's not going to break. You could wrap this off the side of a building. It might bend, but it will not break. You won't have an anti-tank round of steel flying through the air. And also the reason you use this is because those sharp corners and those wings are swept back. So you don't have a huge open nose of a gouge or form punch steel that buries itself in the end grain. And when you use this, you never go directly into the end grain because you'd be cutting uphill, downhill, uphill, downhill. The downhill cut will be great, but the uphill cut will bury itself in that end grain and the wood will probably go flying through the air, and good luck holding on to the tool. What you want to do is you want to cut downhill across those fibers, across the end grain. So we present this tool and we enter on the side grain, cutting down and across those end grain fibers. That way we're cutting downhill and we're not cutting directly into those fibers, presenting that nose or those wings to be buried in that end grain, giving you that violent catch.
Okay, I was trying to use a bowl gouge to get rid of the majority of the material. So that was where I was in error, even though I'm trying to rip so much of this the material I have to get rid of. I was trying to use a large tool versus, and I have a bowl gouge. I have a couple of bowl gouges, in fact. So I need to go back to a bowl gouge, even though they're a little bit smaller, just to get rid of all of that material. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was a real good explanation. That was really good.
It is,
The
yeah.
way you presented
you,
that and
Kade.
showed the wood, that was great.
Thank you.
Wow,
Thank you,
we're gonna make, Dane, we're gonna make you a member.
Pleasure. Thanks.
Okay.
We're gonna elevate your status.
All right.
You need to
Yeah.
throw that
I'll pay
gouge
you
away
dues.
that you,
And who
need
does
to
he
throw
send
the
it
gouge
to?
away that you broke.
Also, start
Hey,
with a
can-
few pieces of 2x4, 2x6, or 2x8, and learn from the beginning at it. That looks like a very large piece of wood to me for a beginner to start on.
Start small.
Probably,
That's right.
I'm good at running on the bleeding edge.
Can I say something about your tools, your metal? If you have a tool that if you tap it with a screwdriver or whatever, you'll get a ring in it. If you do not get that ring, there could be a fracture, crack in it that has a chance for that tool to break.
Same thing with a porcelain dish or anything
Yeah.
else. Yeah.
Another thing that could have happened, to his point, was if you turn, do you ever rest your tools on your lathe bed? And would that tool have ever happened to fall and hit the floor or the concrete? Because if it does that, it can put hairline fractures through the steel. And then when you get a catch with that tool, it will snap and it will break. That actually happened to me with a bowl gouge, the exact same size as the one I showed you. It was a 3/8 inch bowl gouge. Actually, no, it was a 5/8 inch bowl gouge. It was like my very first bowl gouge, and I used it for 6 years or 8 years. It got very small, but over time, there were a few times it dropped and landed on the concrete nose down. So one day I was turning a bowl. This was a 2-foot diameter bowl, 8 inches thick. It was a big mixing bowl for a Japanese buckwheat noodle chef. He needed a bowl to knead his dough in that wouldn't walk on him. And I was turning this bowl. It was a side grain bowl, and I was turning the inside of this bowl, and I got a minor catch on the tip of that bowl gouge. And I mean, the bowl gouge steel snapped like a twig and went through the air. So that wouldn't happen if it didn't have a hairline fracture in it because of the size of this tool steel. Yeah.
It could also happen because of weakness in the metal, because of crystallization in the metal. I had that happen to a little half inch square bit that I had sharpened and was using. Snapped right off. Crystallized metal.
Yeah, and you'll learn more turning 5 and 6 inch bowls quicker and faster than you will jumping up to big ones when you begin.
And they're easier to give away.
And you'll have to sand less on a smaller bowl too.
Listen to who's talking about sanding. Listen. The things he turns, big, you know, he can use a scrap of sandpaper. Hello, Bob. Good seeing you, sir. All right. We worldwidewoodturners.org. We've been here for a while, and we keep going back to some items and some topics. And one of them is using CA for a finish. And I guess I ran across it 8 or 9 years ago at the SWAT meeting in Texas. And by the way, I didn't get an update on what SWAT's doing this year yet. I've had a couple of calls and emails about it. When I get it, we'll talk about it here, because I know there's some board members for it on our line right now. But we've been talking about CA finish. And the deal was, what is the better one? Which one is easier to use? Which one will give you a better finish? I don't think we can answer that with one answer. The question's multi-layered. But this week I went over to Ronnie Bonnette's house. In fact, it was yesterday. I went to Ronnie Bonnette's house, and we did a little demo on using CA glue. And this is, now I'm going to ask y'all to bear with us on this, and we'll have some time for the comments at the end. But this is a demonstration we're working on to explain a little bit about one form of CA product. So right now we're going to go to the video. And we should be up and playing, but we're not playing yet. Let's find out where it's not playing. Now it is.
In the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about doing CA finishes. I want to show you how to do a CA finish using a couple different products. But I'm going to start with the Parfix. Now, this is, I got to tell you how I'm going to do this. Wait a minute. You can't do this because you haven't done it yet. You got to hand it over and then take it back. What do you mean hand it over? You know, hey. You got to learn first before you can do it. I started out running before I walked. There you go. All right. So Ronnie Bonnette is here, and we're going to, all right, you understand. We're going to do this using Parfix 3408, pardon me. Let's go. For the last little bit, we've been talking about doing a CA finish on a piece. I like to do regular CA glue. Ronnie likes to do this Parfix 3408. So I'm going to show you how things happen with this when you do the formula right. All right. Wait. You doing it? Yeah, I'm doing it. You can't overlay your voice on this. You can overlay your voice on yours. But this is the world of CA. The world of CA contains a whole bunch of different types of CA. I have Starbond, thin, and I have Parfix 3408, super thin. You might say, well, what's the difference? I did that. Starbond thin, the viscosity number is 100.
It's frozen, isn't it?
Remember that number now, 100.
It's a black screen. We can hear it, but can't see none.
The viscosity is 5.
All right, hold on. I got to get that off.
It's going to go into the wood a lot quicker and a lot deeper.
I have to find that one and turn it off. I got that one off. I'm going to go back to sharing screen, and in stopping it, I stopped it all together. I'll have to open it back up again. Ronnie, you're with us, right?
I'm here.
Okay, I'm going to get that video back up. I don't know why I stopped it. Oh, well, it's just like I stopped the other one. So let me go back to this. It's loading screen sharing right now. And we worked so hard on this yesterday. I gave him a hard time and everything. I mean, he kind of earned it.
As you notice, I was giving him a hard time back.
Certainly.
Yeah.
You have to.
Gotta.
I can't get it to come back up again. Oh man, what a bummer.
Tell that mouse to run a little bit quicker.
It's all uphill right now. Ronnie, I don't know if I can get it back up. I'm having some computer problems here because of the lightning in the area. I don't know if that's causing it, but I'm blinking an autonomous power server.
We had that this evening and you straightened it out.
Yeah, so I'm going to go back to doing it. Ronnie, tell them more about what we did and why I'm finding it.
All right. Can you run the video without any sound?
I'm trying to get there too. Going to go back to sharing screen and see if it'll come up. I'm still looking at you. It says I'm loading the screen. And that's what you're seeing right now. Eddie Castellan started screen sharing. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave the meeting on that computer and see if it helps. Okay. I don't think we're up yet. Try it again, Ronnie.
For the last little bit, we've been talking about doing a CA finish on a piece. I like to do regular CA glue. Ronnie likes to do this Parfix 3408.
No video, just audio.
81 degrees and the humidity is 64%. So for down here.
Okay, I'm going to bail out of that for right now. We have it done. It was the screen sharing is giving us a little bit of problem. We had it worked and we tested it earlier today. In fact, give Ronnie a hard time about it. We actually did the thing online to see if it worked. Don't know what has happened. Ronnie, you still there? I'm going to pop you up on.
Yeah. The bottom line is we all turn and we all sand to a certain point. If you ask me about sanding, I would say I started 80 grit, and the reason I started 80 grit is because I want everything uniform. And I'll probably spend more time on the 80 grit than I do anything else. Once I feel like I have everything uniform, and then I'll go on to other grits. I sand from 80 grit to 800. And there's 12 different steps in there to get to 800. So that's what I use. After you finish sanding, the last grit at 800. Now, as I'm sanding, I'm using a Harbor Freight little air sander. And I love the thing. It works great. It's cheap. And when it goes, the one I have is about 3 or 4 years old. When it dies, I'm just going to throw it on the side and go to Harbor Freight and spend another 20 bucks. Sand the 800. Now, as you're sanding, when I hit the grit about 240, I'll stop, take a spray bottle, and saturate the whole piece. I mean, soaking wet. And then I'll turn the lathe back on and I'll let it air dry. I'll go sit down and get a cup of coffee or Coke or whatever. I'll let it dry, then I come back and I start sanding again with the grit I left off with. I sand forward and reverse, and I'll go all the way to 800. At 800, when you're finished with the air sander, you take your 800 grit in the palm of your hand, and you orbitally go over the whole piece. The reason that is so you're not leaving any marks on the wood. Anything that's there will not be seen. At that point, I take a clean piece of Scott towel, probably 2 pieces, and I turn the lathe on and I'll wipe it completely down. When I'm finished with the first piece, I'll come back with the second piece of Scott towel and continue wiping. When I feel like I have all the dust and everything off, I've already blown everything off, wiped it down and everything else. Turn off your lathe, put it into forward motion, and turn your lathe on as slow as your lathe will go. Normally it's around 100 for my lathe. At that point, with your gloves on and your eye protection. Don't forget your eye protection. At that point, I'll take a piece of Scott towel. I'm saying Scott towel. It's that blue towel from Home Depot. I'll take a small piece. When I say small, I take a whole roll and I cut it in 3. So I'm using 1/3 of a sheet. At that point, I'll fold that over about 6 times. At that point, I take my CA to 3408 and I drizzle it across the tip of the towel. When I go to apply the CA, I'm not starting on the very end because that's a good way of getting CA glue in your chuck. Back off the end a little bit towards the middle. You turn the bottle upside down. At that point, it's drizzling out of the bottle. When you start to see it come out, you're going to start to back up towards the back of the bowl. And then you proceed to come towards the front of the bowl, the top of the bowl. I'll continue drizzling that all the way across. So now the whole bowl is saturated with CA. At that point, I'll put the bottle down and I'll take that same piece of Scott towel and I'll keep going back and forth across it a few times. At that point, I'll turn the lathe off and I'll take it manually and just make random circles around, making sure there's no holidays or anything else. You might say, well, how much time do you have to work this? You'll be surprised with this product how much time you have to work. After I'm finishing at that point, I'll take another piece of dry towel and I'll wipe the whole entire bowl off. And you might say to yourself, well, I can't do that because it's going to stick. With this product, it's not going to stick. Just keep it moving, and it's already into the wood at this point. Wipe the whole bowl down with a dry piece of Scott towel. When you finish at that point, you stand back about 12 to 16 inches off of it with the bowl running slowly on the lathe, and you take your activator and you hit it a miss. When I say a miss, you're only staying on it for probably a little over 2 seconds. That's all you want is that cloud of accelerator to be around that bowl. At that point, I'll back off. I'll go sit down, have something to drink, or what I'll start doing is taking that bowl off, and I'll get ready for buffing. And we had the buffing and all done on this video. At that point, I'll put the buffing wheel on it. Now, when you're talking about buffing, most of us probably have that Beal buffing system, and it comes with 3 buffers. There's only 2 of the buffers that I'll use. I won't use the very coarse one that you would normally use the Red Rouge for. I just leave that on the side. The second buffer that you would normally use the White Diamond on, I don't use a White Diamond. The only thing I use is Vonnex. The reason for Vonnex is made for acrylics. And if you use the White Diamond or if you use the Red Rouge, you're backing up the wrong way. We're looking to make it finer. So that's what the Vonnex is about. I'll load the buffing wheel with the Vonnex and I start buffing it. As you buff it, you buff in a figure-8 motion all the way across. And when I'm finished buffing it, I'll change the wheel to the wax, and I'll load the wheel up with Canuba wax, and then I come back and I lightly buff the whole piece. While you're buffing with the wax, if you see you're starting to get white streaks, that's not a problem. Just stop and buff lighter what's happening is you're buffing too hard. There's too much friction. So just stop and buff lighter than what you were doing, and that'll disappear. And when you finish that, you're finished. Yesterday, when we made this video, I had the stopwatch on from the time I started, and when we finished putting the CA on, I bet you it didn't take us a minute to do it because there's nothing to it. At that point, I left the stopwatch running. I took the bowl off, took the chuck off. I mounted the Beal buffing system on there. We completely buffed it. We waxed it and everything else. And I was totally finished, and it was about 10 minutes. So the actual time it takes to do this is probably no more than probably 3 to 4 minutes. So that's how it works out. If we can get this video up and working again, we can probably show this at a later date. So
we can, Ronnie. We're having a technical problem, and I know what it is. So we can play this again later on, but we will post it to our YouTube website. I was sending it to, I'll be linking it up and giving it to David to put it on our website. It explains the whole thing, really does.
If anybody has any questions, come forth and ask your questions now. I made sure I got in touch with Mark Sillay when we finished this video yesterday, and I asked him to try to be here tonight because Mark had something to do tonight, but he's in the house. If I can't answer your question, I'm sure Mark can answer your question. So this is a great product, and it's the easiest you'll ever do. So,
yeah, this is Alfred. How many coats of the CA did you put on?
One coat. You gotta remember the normal thin CA glue, the viscosity is about 100. This Parfix 3408, the viscosity is 5.
Wow.
I thought the open time was only 40 seconds.
No, you have more time than that, and that's going to vary a little bit on the temperature and the amount of humidity in your area. I think personally we have more humidity than probably most people have, and you don't have a problem as far as the open time on this.
You say a lot of humidity. We can't beat Kim, but we get close. Kim's waiting to take a slice out of the air. But, you know, the humidity we had the other day was pretty bad. We had a front coming in, moving some weather through, and that's going to impact the curing time and drying time. But the guy said you got a 40-second overtime. I tell you, I wish I could get that thing running because he was still rubbing in it about a minute afterwards and smoothing it out. And
I would probably say normal CA, you have about a 40-second open time.
Oh, I don't think I get that. I don't think I get one past.
Maybe not. But
I live in California, and it hardens up pretty quick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I say something?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. I've been using this product for 13 years. It's medical super glue, right? It does have a specified 40-second time delay before polymerization begins. 3460 has a 50-second time delay. A lot of times when I'm doing a demo, I'll sit there and I'll wipe it for 2 minutes. There's going to be a certain time, right, depending on the humidity and the temperature, that's going to start to polymerize. And when it does, it's just like any other super glue. It's going to generate heat, right? And your paper towel that you're using will stick up. But what's nice about it is it won't start smoking and sticking and stinking right away. It's odorless, right? So if you want to further, what Ronnie said is probably 99.9% correct. If you want to go to the YouTube, just look up Mark Sillay finishes wood with Parfix 3408. and it's a little bit more detailed, and you can see exactly what I do, right? But anyway, it is a fabulous product, and you never, if you're going to do a hollow form or something like that, right? The reason that people get so upset about super glue is they try to finish a great big hollow form like a pen. They put 3 or 4 or 5 coats on it. And what they're doing is they're making an eggshell on the outside. So as the humidity changes, right, the wood is always expanding and contracting. And so eventually, if you have an eggshell on the outside, it'll crackle. But since you only put 1 coat on, you wipe it on, wipe it off, what you've really created is a cellulose reinforced acrylic plastic. You've actually stabilized the wood, and it's not on the outside like a shell. Anyway, you just go to Mark Sillay, Finishes Wood with Parfix 3408 on YouTube. It's all there. And they carry 4 different weights. They have the 5 centipoid 3408, which is good for cracks or finishing the surface. They have 3460, which is 45 centipoids, which is good for the pen turners. It'll still soak into the wood, but it's not thin enough to go down and lock up the bushings. They have a Parfix 900, which is 100 centipoids, which is like your stick fast, your Star Bond medium. And they make a 3403, which is 1,000 centipoids, like a gel. I personally don't use the real thick stuff, but there are some applications, mostly industrial. Anyway, that's the basic medical super glue pack. And the only other thing that I use, right, is when I'm attaching 2 woods, if I use a rubberized or flexible super glue that they make, because if you put a finial or a collar, an insert collar on a hollow form, and they're 2 different woods, and the humidity expands and contracts, both those woods have a different coefficient of expansion. So the crystals would eventually break. So if you have a non-crystalline product, right, it's a rubberized product that never crystallizes, it stays flexible, right? And so, I mean, I've had stuff I use for 13 years and it's still fine. There's no cracking or checking or anything like that.
Thank you, Mark. And now we had a question. What is the activator? And that is, we said earlier in the program, it's the 1144. That's 1144. That's in the chat information in our program. And
Eddie, highlight me.
Are you highlighted, bud? All right, go back to it again, Ronnie.
I got him.
All right.
This is the piece.
Very nice.
This is a piece that we did yesterday.
That's
very good, Ronnie.
Very nice.
If you was using wipe-on poly or lacquer, you'd still be working, getting a 2nd and 3rd coat on there and evened out.
Yeah.
That's just 1 coat, Ronnie?
One coat. And
Wow.
that's the secret. You don't want to put multiple coats. 1 coat.
Hey, Ronnie, is there any way you can change the sheen, gloss to like semi-gloss? Is there a process you can do?
Yes.
Buff it with a towel.
You sand it back.
What do you say on that?
You can cut it back with 4/0 steel wool.
Okay.
Could
Brown
you use
paper
that
bag.
on wet wood, like on those crosses?
So Mark, what are you saying? For less sheen, you would hit it with the steel wool?
Yeah, you can just cut it back with 4/0 steel wool.
Yeah.
Okay, this shine here is what I think of as a natural wood shine. You're not gonna have the lack of finish.
It's a high set.
Finish.
Right, it's a high set and it's not a glass. If you put 3 or 4 coats on like a pen, you can polish it out like glass.
Can you use that on green wood, like on those crosses?
I wouldn't recommend it.
It reacts to moisture. Think about it. It reacts to oil moisture.
Well,
It'll become white and milky. It reacts.
If you're using green wood, you got moisture there already. That's going to act like your activator.
That's correct.
Well,
And, any activator will work, but I use the heptane-based activator, the 1144, because if you use an acetone-based activator and people spray the living tar out of it, right? What they're doing, they're dissolving the very acrylic plastic they're trying to make, because acetone dissolves superglue. So if you use a heptane-based, right, then it doesn't dissolve the superglue, and you don't have all these shiny and dull spots and all that where you've destroyed the superglue finish with the activator.
This finish is going to stay like this. It's not going to change. It's not going to dull over time.
Right.
This is coated in plastic.
And as mentioned, all this is possible because Tom Moore left a big piece of wood by Ronnie's house.
Well, I was just getting ready to make a comment. That don't look like no 2x4.
Yeah, this is far from a 2x4. A good friend, Tom Moore, which is here tonight with us, gave me this piece of wood.
I hope you fed him.
It's hard to feed him. He's not down here long enough. Every now and then I'll get him to drink a beer with me.
All right. Thank you, Ronnie. It's a beautiful piece. Appreciate the demonstration
Thanks,
on CA. And we continue with those, folks. If you'd like to be part of it and show us. I found out what the technical problem is, and we will fix that. Can't do it tonight, but we will fix it and show it to you because he showed you step by step. Somebody said how long and how open and all these things. And that's why we ran the clock. I've been to too many club demonstrations where there was breaks and gaps and the guy had to stop and explain things. Ronnie took his breaks and his gaps and he explained things. And in fact, at one point I said, restart the stopwatch. And he picked up the clock and said, wait, we never stopped it. And it was still a legal bit of time that he did it. And what we didn't show is he finished the inside of the bowl in the same time frame as the outside, but I wasn't running the camera on it at the time, but it happened in the clock. So that's it. Appreciate it, Mark Sillay, for the stuff. And if you're interested, all the contact information is in the shot, in the chat. And I'll mention again, before you leave tonight, save the chat. David Rose, do we put the chat on the website now, sir?
Oh, we do.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's our backup, world's greatest website, and that's where it's going to be at. Got to mention again, if we do this thing about pens. Mark just said something a minute ago when you do the pens and the CA finish on the pens. It's an awesome finish for the pens for the reason that what does that pen make contact with? Right there. Makes contact with skin. Skin oils that eat the finish off of almost anything. But this CA finish is almost bulletproof. And I like to use that term, bulletproof. So we're collecting those Freedom pens. And I don't think Doug is with us tonight. I was looking through the list here. I know Paul Hannaby is with us. Johnny Hughes, Dave Rhodes, Dane Chandler, Bob Moffett, Mark Sillay. The list is long. And a lot of these turners spend a lot of time doing demonstrations. Martin's here. Martin out of the UK is here. Donald's here from Australia. Isn't that where you're at? Donald's in Laura Vic, Australia. He's with us tonight. We want information from all these guys, and we share it with you. It's about 10 minutes, 40 hour. I'm Captain Eddie Castle. You're tuned in to worldwidewoodturners.org. We're on website. We got a YouTube, Facebook program, newsletters that go out on Facebook, all this stuff. All you need to do is become a member. And how do you do that? Tune in.
Follow the link.
You follow the link from the website. No membership fees, no hats, no jackets, no newsletter, no commitments. So if you join today and you don't come back tomorrow, we'll miss you. But there's no commitments. And you can belong to this club as long as you belong, even if you belong to every other club in the world, you can belong to us.
Eddie
handles our gallery each week, and we like the gallery because we want to see what you're turning. Again, we want to know what size it is, which you have on it for a finish, what the wood is, and here's the problem. We'll get a couple of guys want to know what species the wood it is. And so, you know, let's go back to Dane right now and see what we got. I see we have some more on the list. Dane.
Right,
Eddie? Eddie,
Go ahead.
Yeah,
I have a question for Mark Sillay.
go ahead.
I use CA finish for my pens, but I flash it over with boiled linseed oil, and it doesn't seem to give off the odor like it does if you use an activator, and it also doesn't seem to get it as quick. Is there something in the boiled linseed oil that activates the CA, or is it just my imagination?
I don't know, but the only thing I do, once I sand my wood to 800 random orbit, I use 3 coats of Parfix 3460, build it up, send it back to 400 till there's no more shiny, send it to 800 random orbit, right? And polish it with any good plastic polish. You can I use EEE Ultra Shine in a little white jar. Just wipe it on, and turn up your speed real high. It'll look like glass.
Yeah, I do this at a real high speed, and I use paper towel to put it on, and it actually puts a plastic finish on the paper towel. The paper towel will get so hot when it flashes that it makes actual hard film on the paper towel even.
Well, I never use linseed oil, but there's 1,000 ways to do things.
I was just curious if you ever used it, because I just was wondering if it was something I was doing right or wrong. It seems to work for me, that's all.
If it
I
works,
do it,
keep going.
I do it, so I'm going to say you're doing it right.
All right.
Okay.
Now,
Glad somebody else is trying it.
All right, all you folks have some information on the 34.8 and the activator, and it is in the chat. And Bob Moffett, who uses a little bitty bit because of his work he does, he's asking about the cost range. So if one of our folks could throw that in a chat, because that becomes product endorsement. We'll stay away from it a little bit. Dane, back to the gallery.
All righty. James DeBro, how are you? We're coming to you right now. You're muted, I think.
Alrighty, got it covered.
Got it.
Yep. I've got a little Christmas ornament already for the year.
You're starting
All right.
early.
I like that naturalist piece.
Yeah, it turned out real nice. It's a
natural edge.
Natural edge ash and mesquite finials with a spray lacquer finish. They're deft. And so my wife saw it in the magazine, so I figured I better make a couple.
That's nice.
Thanks.
That's nice. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
I'm going to have to go pull out some more limbs that I threw out.
Nasty's going to make one for all our friends.
That's good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Like Mr. Brown does. I mean, he makes them up for the home, the place he stays at. Everybody gets them. What else we got, Dane?
Well, we got Alfred up. Hey,
Hey, Al.
Hey, how you doing, guys? Very nice, very informative. I appreciate this club and what you guys do for the wood turning community.
Thank you.
I belong to the Detroit area wood turning club, and I've been telling all my friends about your group. So you might be getting more customers.
Good.
Hey, we need the money.
Al, I think we'll have to remind them on. I think we'll have to remind them on Wednesdays because they just don't seem to get it.
Yes. I don't know why. I told them last time. Well, Sunday we're gonna have a general meeting, so I'll bring it up again.
Yeah. And let them know. TV on Wednesday night sucks.
Yeah. So what I got here is it's a burl cap, and this is what I turned from it.
Whoa!
Oh, nicely done.
Yeah.
Nice.
This had a big crack in the middle here. This black. So I filled it up with, actually I used CA, and I used, when I was doing pens, I used the blackwood, I powdered it and I put that with the CA and I filled it up like that. This is, naturally, this is all dyed here. This is dyed, this is textured and dyed, and also this is textured and I dyed it. Actually, there is a black and a green there, but you cannot really see it. And for the top here, I found I found this at, well, it's backwards.
Oh, you had
It's
it right.
called Inca, and I got this at Michael's or Joanne, one of them I can't remember, but they come from Germany, and they have about 8 or 9 different colors. This is the gold that I used, but they have other colors, and this is some more, and I'm sure that there is more too. And you just apply it with your finger like, you know, the other stuff. And then I have about 4 or 5, 6 coats of, actually it's matte lacquer, but that's where this come from. So that's
Very nice, Albert. Gorgeous
Yeah.
piece.
Oh,
That's
thank
really
you.
nice.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Then I have
Yeah,
another
that's
one.
nice too.
Keep getting better.
Yeah.
Alfred doesn't sell any of his work, and we haven't seen his best work yet. So it's all over his house.
Yeah, I have a problem getting rid of my stuff. Okay, I wanted to mention something about the finial on this. I took a class with Samuel Avellino, and what he showed us is, you know, naturally, as soon as you show something like this with a finial on it, us woodturners, what they would do is turn it upside down, right? But with this one, even if I go this far, it's not gonna fall off. And the reason is because of the shank on the finial is long. It's a 3/4 inch hole here, and this is just slightly under. So it's a, you know, good fit in there, but when you turn it, it doesn't fall off. So it's a kind of a safety there too, you know.
That's a good idea.
This is a
Beautiful
piece of
piece.
cherry. Yeah,
It
this
is
is a piece of
beautiful.
cherry. And I put black gesso up here, and the bottom, it's actually all burnt here. And then I put 3 different coats just on the surface of metallic paint. I used a Q-tip, and I just wanted to go on the surface because I didn't want it to go into the burned areas. And then I gave it some more coats of lacquer spray on it. So that's another one. And just to thank Dean Grime, he showed us those process. I made some more, and these are gonna go to members of my family and my wife's family for Easter. I think it's very appropriate at this time. And this is made actually out of apple from our backyard. I had an apple tree that, you know, got all disease, you can tell from all the worm holes. And you know, that's another one. That's
very nice.
You know, I got
beautiful.
8 so far. And I have one other thing for the people who were asking last week about, you know, I showed that zipper vase. This is the tool they were asking. They were asking, how do I do that rabbit down here and all the way around? And that's done with this. This is a saber tooth, and they just came out with these. These are white. The color denotes how aggressive they are. This is very mild. But what I was talking about, this is a safety edge here. There is no, it doesn't cut at all. So when you push it down, you can only go down. Even if you press in, nothing is gonna happen. So you can cut a really nice edge and go as deep as you want. And it's all done with that tool. So, you know, all the way around there was all done with this tool.
Is that an 1/8 inch shank?
Yeah, it's an 18 shank, and I use this on the micromotor.
Okay. Saber tooth.
Yeah,
I haven't looked at it yet, but okay.
Yes, these are brand new. They just came out.
They call them the extra fine bits. They're the white ones.
They're really good. I got a bunch of selection here. You know, some of their stuff. That like the yellow here, they're more aggressive, and I think even the green, those are most aggressive.
Okay.
So
yeah, they call the green coarse, the yellow fine, and the white ultra fine.
Yes.
And if you start going up into the like 4.5-inch grinder wheels, and they have other colors that are even more aggressive and darn right scary. So,
Oh yeah, they got some really big stuff. We made a couple of times, actually, I did a big buy for the club, and we got a discount, and we got a special discount from them, and they're good. They have a lot. You can do a lot with them.
We put on chat.
already there.
Yes. You gonna do it, Matt?
Thanks,
Yeah.
Matt.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alfred. Beautiful work, sir. Very nice work.
It's gorgeous.
But just sharing the art
Very
and the
nice.
technique. That's why we're here. Art
Very
and
nice,
technique.
Alfred.
Very nice. Who we got up, Dane?
We got Taro up next. Let's see. Make sure I get the right one.
Have the control stick. There you go.
Disappeared.
Everybody is invited. Everybody. Only play favorite to Ronnie. That's it. Who's
There we
up?
go, Mr. Bruce. How you doing,
All
Taro?
right. Hello there.
My wife already got some flowers in this little vase.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
I think he's going to steal Brenda's heart and say he turned those flowers.
It's a cherry, and I also got an insert for it.
Can you back it up a little?
Only towards the face. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice.
Very nice. What's the wood?
Nice.
It's cherry, and it's just got my own sanding paste and finishing paste on it.
Nice.
Thank you, Carol. Appreciate you showing that tonight. Really.
I've got some crosses too, out of holly.
No, nice.
Yeah.
Here's a.
I tell you
What
now.
did you finish those with?
I took it off, took the bark off of it, and to join that 2x4 club.
2x4 club, Eddie.
I got it. He made that out of a 2x4.
Yeah.
So there was a question on the two holly ones. What did you finish the holly ones on with?
The holly on one of them, I sprayed lacquer, and on this one here, I use shellac.
Right on.
That's nice. Boy, that's one demo that took off like fire, didn't it?
Yeah, didn't it?
Really nice.
Eddie, you
Hey,
got
yeah,
anything?
Carol.
Wait, there, Taro. How you like that?
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
We're here
coming
sharing
to you, buddy.
information, gallery, and technique. Who you got?
We're gonna go to Ontario, of course.
Oh, wow. Is that Cade?
Yes,
cold
it is.
up there.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Kate.
No, that's John.
Hey, John.
Hey, John. Let me go back to Cade.
Here I am.
There we go.
Oh, there we are. All right.
Yeah, it looks-
I have a couple of things to show. Here's a piece of Osage orange I had lying around the wood storage area. So it was quite small and I wanted to decorate it somehow to make it pop. So here's the Osage orange. But if you look on the perimeter of the rim, we have a metal inlay that's indexed and inlaid all the way around the rim.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's nice. I
That's
like
yeah.
that.
That's
Very sharp.
aluminum rod.
Hey, Bob, does that sound like a demo?
Sounds like a demo to me.
I sure hope so.
Am I such an outstanding demonstrator?
Oh, look, he's a rookie. He's a rookie demonstrator. Go to the chat, folks. You'll see what this rookie's going to do a demonstration. And we allow that in our chat.
What kind of finish was that?
The finish on this is tung oil.
Oh, that's nice.
That's
Many coats of tung oil. I can shave in this. I actually shaved this morning because I could see myself. I was like,
He's a wood attorney. He's lying.
How many days did you work
use
on
your
that
skew
one?
Did you shave with your skew?
No, the Russian lathe knife.
Did you
Good
thin that
answer.
tongue hole out, or you put it on? How much did you thin the tongue hole?
I didn't thin it at all. Well, I mean, the first
Oh, okay.
few coats I thinned just so it would penetrate and totally penetrate into the wood. And then after I had a good base, I just put it on pure.
Cool. Thanks, man. Looks nice.
Beautiful, beautiful work, Kade. Beautiful work.
So
Is that
that's
pure tongue
mostly,
oil?
that's just tongue oil. That's actually, I used to use Minwax tongue oil, but now it's getting harder to get up pure. So now I switched to Watco, and I mean, they all oils act the same and work the same. I like using oils because I can build it up to a finish I want. You can go matte, semi-matte, gloss, high gloss, glass finish, and you can control the finish. You don't just buy a gloss can of some spray. You can actually control the sheen as you work your way up to it. Another piece I have here is a ladle.
Wow.
This piece here is elm burl. The bottom of my ladle here is African blackwood. The stem is ash that was steam bent and ebonized. And the base is lime wood or basswood. And it sits on a small little pin here. And it's a sculptural turning.
So you're about to be used to get your potato soup, huh?
Yeah, that's for
That is beautiful work. Beautiful work, Kade.
It is gorgeous.
That's
Very
awesome.
nice.
And this
You folks-
gentleman's not a rookie anymore. What you think he's gonna be producing?
I don't know. You can't tell, but you know, if you haven't seen one of Cade's demonstrations, we were blessed to have one a couple of weeks ago. We've had a couple. Had one a couple of weeks ago on eggs, like Brenda showed earlier. He took all the science out of it, made it simple, easy, and showed you how to do it with a skew. That is not an easy trick, and it was beautiful work. Thank you, Kade.
Thanks, Eddie. I have
All right.
one more piece, just a box. So this is a beautiful piece of curly maple, sugar maple, where they get the maple syrup out of up here in Canada. And the finial is turned off center, turned with the skew. So the finial is maple, turned on 6-axis. And the piece of maple is triangular. Whoa.
Oh, no.
I hope it's not broken.
No, it didn't break. It hit, that's why I keep shavings on the floor.
I do
That's
too.
the reason. Okay.
So there we go. No problem,
I do.
no damage. It fell into the shavings.
I like that reasoning. I like that.
Thank you. Boy, Kade, that's some beautiful work.
Kade, your eyes got really big when that popped off.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know, I almost had a heart attack. I'm like, no.
That three-sided vessel is an art of its own.
Yes. Folks, Cade's information is in the chat. Remind you again, save it before you leave tonight. Who else we have, Dane?
Well,
Thanks, everyone.
let's go to Mr. Birdhouse. Talk to him.
Birdhouse?
Talk to us.
How y'all doing tonight?
All right, Bob, how are you?
Most of the stuff I turned this week's in paper bags, so I won't show you a paper bag, but I knew we couldn't go through a meeting without a birdhouse. So
That's right. You know, I need my birdhouse.
so I did this one.
Oh, very
And,
nice.
That's
this
pretty.
is soft maple and walnut and ambrosia maple and a little rim of a walnut and maple, and then walnut and maple again.
That's pretty.
Yeah, it is.
And I want to show you.
That is pretty.
Got the porch furniture there for the bird. All right. Yeah.
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 Nice,
Bob.
Thank you. And one other thing I want to show you that I made, I do some wood burning on some of my platters. And so I went to the Habitat Restore that we have in town. and I bought an old range hood for like $15 or so. And so I took it and I cut all the range hood part off and just took the fan, and I took the switch for the range hood and put it on the side. And then when I'm doing some wood burning, I can set this in front of me, and it pulls the air through this filter. I ordered the filter off of Amazon, regular microwave filter. For $15, you don't get a new filter with them. So, but and then it comes out there, comes out this flap in the back. If I get it open, right there, and it sucks most of the smoke away from you.
Good idea.
I bought
Really
something
good
like this
idea.
off of Amazon for
Great
about,
idea.
I think about $200 or $300. I got $15 plus whatever this filter was in mine. So
That's a nice deal, Bob.
it's something a good repurposing of one, and you know, it helps people with habitat too. So
Right.
I
Yeah,
see
good
some
idea.
notes. I see some notes in the chat, Bob. Billy Hillard says it's Larry the Birdman Moffett.
well, tell him it's Moffett with 2 T's.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Don't mean to be negative, but
All right. Thanks, Bob.
thank you.
Thank
Folks,
you.
if you
Very
wonder
nice.
why we joke, this is a family event. This is family you want to hang with, and you can step up anytime. If you're a new member, you can say hello. You want to show your work. You have a problem you want to share, or a tip, or a safety idea, anything. It's all right here. The rule is it's got to be wood turning. Who else, Dane?
We got Dean on cue. Hey, Dean.
Hi, Dane.
Hey guys. So I did a video, it's been several weeks ago, and I used a little screwdriver handle to hold a drill bit. And I've had more questions on that than probably anything else I've done. And I started looking where you could get them, and I really couldn't find any like that. So I decided to make one. And basically what I did is take a quick release hex extension, turn the handle, and now I can just pop a hex drive drill bit in there. And if I decide to go to another size drill bit, right there. And if I decide I need a long handle screwdriver, I've got one.
That is one
Very
nifty
nice.
idea.
That's
That is
ingenious.
Wow.
You use that more than the screwdriver.
And any luck at all, and I finish in the editing on this thing, I'll have that video up tonight.
Good. All right. Share those over. Share
Good job,
that.
Dave.
Shop built
Yeah.
tool.
I will do that.
Thank you.
The crosses you have seen on at gallery tonight came from a demo that Dean did for us a couple of weeks ago, and that's where we get the information. We share it. Billy Dillard tells me the weather's here. The water's up to his knees. So I'm in New Orleans. We're still safe for a little while. That front's blowing through, heading our way. All right, Dane. Who else we have, sir?
Let's see. We've got Bray's wood turning.
Bray's wood turn.
Greg, I think. Greg.
Greg. All right, Greg.
We've got no video for you, sir.
You what?
I said we have no video for you.
I wonder why.
All right. While we're refreshing, go back to him again. It might be something on our end to his end.
All right, we'll come back to you. See if you can check to see if you got your video camera on. All right, so let's go to, let's see what Jack's got going on down in Texas.
Oh, that's Jack. He's got.
That's you.
Jack, what are you hiding?
There's Bray.
There's Bray.
There it is.
Okay. Let's
All
go.
All right.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, I showed a fern that I had painted on, and that this is a piece of holly that I painted on, and I actually painted 3 different birds on it all the way around.
That is pretty.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Wow.
What was
Doesn't
the
even
pyro
look like wood.
on?
It's so smooth.
What'd you say?
Wow.
I said that doesn't even look like wood. It's so smooth.
Well, it's a piece of holly. Holly turns really, really well, and I have sprayed it with lacquer. what you got to watch out for if you're doing any painting on here, I use a stays on ink pads, just for, you know, for inks, for stamping and stuff. That's the kind of ink that I use. And then I use micron pens to paint, do my detail work with. If you use the micron pens instead of something like a Sharpie, they won't melt or fade. So you got to be careful of what pens you use, because they will melt on you if you spray it with lacquer.
All right. Thank you, Bray. Appreciate that.
Very nice.
I got one more piece here.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
This is a little dish that I made, and this got the flutes on the side of it, and the flutes were turned in, and then I remounted it just like you would a bowl in this direction, and then turn the bowl out and shape the bottom and everything, just like you would do a bowl. But when you first start this, you got to start with a log in between centers to get the shape of the flutes on here. So it's a very, interesting piece when you turn it and stuff, and it's just something different.
Wow.
That sounds like a good demo.
Is that holly too?
Yeah, this is a holly too, actually.
Wow.
Wait, can you do a demo for us?
I can work on that. We can do
All
that.
right, I got it, Ronnie. Bray.
We have a whole bunch of people interested in this.
Thanks, Greg.
Yep.
That's
This,
neat.
this would be a piece. I belong to Louisville area wood turners, and I'm probably going to do a demo for them on this piece too. So, it'll be.
Practice there and bring the good stuff to us, okay?
There you go.
Right.
Nice job, Greg. Nice job.
I actually got a YouTube video on doing this particular one here too, but that was one of the earlier videos that I did, and it wasn't the best video, but it does show you how to do it.
All right, that's what we want to know, sharing information. Thank
Nice
you, Greg.
job.
Appreciate that. Beautiful piece
Thank
of
you.
work. Hey, folks, if you've been tuned with us earlier this afternoon or this evening, we showed you a bowl done by Doug Miller. And Doug Miller did a piece with the water spots on it, and it was absolutely gorgeous. Doug, are you still with us?
I'm still here.
All right, let's pop on to Doug for a minute. Let's drop off of, yeah, there it is. See that piece? Doug, you tell me you have a YouTube on that?
Yes. My channel name is Doug Miller at Woodspun Round. And yeah, I didn't do so much of the bowl on this particular video. I concentrated on that water drop technique.
Ronnie, I think he's trying to get out of a demo here, bud.
No, I'll be glad to show it.
Okay.
Hey, Doug, repeat your your video site again. Doug Miller at what?
Woodspun Round. I just put it in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Save the chat before you go home, folks. Thank you, Doug. Hope you look forward to seeing that and the demonstration. Reminding folks again that we do collect Freedom Pens. If you turn a Freedom Pen, you go to our website and there will be a link to where you give you the address to First Sergeant Doug Rowe, an active member of our military, protecting our freedom. And Doug will put them actually in the hands of the troops protecting our nation. Who else we have, Dane?
All right, let's go back to Jack. Made a
Okay.
rhyme there.
There you
go. I turned a couple bowls like this past week, different sizes. I call those my M&M bowls. But this is Texas live oak. It's the first time I've turned it, and it's doing the wood is doing some things that I think are very interesting. This measured about 10 or 12% moisture when I turned it, but it's a big log. So in the inside, it wasn't near as dry as I thought it was. But I'm going to see if I can get the light to shine on this right. What the wood is doing as it's drying is it's adding its own texture where the grain is. And I'm going to move it around here to see if I can find. There you go.
Yep, I see it.
See that texture there?
It's like raising it up.
I like that.
Yeah, I've had some bros go to marbling, I think I was told it's called.
Yeah, something like that. And also, let's see, this side, the grain looks like a bunch of wavy strands like hair. Let's see if I can get that where it can be seen. I can't really tell it.
A little bit of it showing.
Yeah, I can see it a little bit, just barely.
Yeah, that's
Get
good.
closer. There you go. Now you can see some of the waviness of that. Looks like a bunch of hair laid in there.
Right?
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm tossing this on a big screen TV, and I just captured a video of that.
Okay.
Really good.
But I thought that was so interesting that what the wood is doing as it's drying to give itself that texture, right where it's the shape of the grain.
Yeah.
The dark and the lighter grain is drying, I suppose, and shrinking at a different rate.
You know, God did that to wood. It'll keep moving no matter what.
Yes, he did. He's wonderful.
Right.
He's given us a chunk of wood, giving me a chunk of wood and saying, here, do this, go into it and see what's there. And I'm finding some great stuff inside this wood.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
Texas live oak.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Anything else, Jack?
Thanks for sharing.
That's
that.
it. That's
Thank
it.
you,
Good
sir.
night.
Thank you very much. Very nice.
Hey.
Contact
All right.
information for Lan Brady at Bray's Wood Turning is on our chat also this evening. If you'd like to be part of that, put information in the chat. I mean, that's where you're going to find some links to clubs, demonstrators, lessons, all that stuff. And really, we don't charge because we don't make a profit on it. We're not out there to fatten our pockets. We're out to make it better for you to wood turn. And if you'd like to be part, keep telling you every week, get in there. We got to throw like 118 people today. Our limit is 300. Come on, limit. Come on. And would like to have you involved in it. We got a lot of stuff being shared tonight. A lot of stuff.
Back at it.
Go back at it, sir. I'm trying
Go
to
back at it. All right. Well, let's go to a different hemisphere. Donald, what's cracking?
Down under.
Should have gave you notice to wake up, huh?
Donald,
I had to unmute myself.
Donald's taking his afternoon siesta. He's down in Australia, guys.
Continuing with the theme of rare Tasmanian timbers. This is Blackheart sassafras.
All right.
And I put a map of Tasmania on it just to symbolize that it was Tasmania.
That's cool.
That's nice. Right in front of you. There you go.
Pretty wood.
So
it's a beautiful timber. The pity there's not more of it available.
That's beautiful.
That's a gorgeous color.
Yeah. From Australia.
Nice.
I've got a fair bit more to turn a bit at a time. I'm going to make a couple of little bowls and some coasters. But that over a period of time, I don't want to just rush in and do it all.
Well, thank you, sir. Show us when you get it there. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Donald from down under. I know we have Martin in there from the Great Kingdom. I saw him pop up on the screen a little while ago. Martin.
Question for Donald.
Go ahead.
Does that say you're from Victoria, Australia?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm from Victoria, Texas. Hey.
There you go.
Right. Okay, so we're going to go
Have you been to Victoria's Secret?
She hadn't told me what the secret is.
You know that rule. Family show.
Okay, so we're going to go to a first-time viewer tonight, Gary Burns out of British Columbia. Hi, Gary.
How you guys doing? First time on. I saw you on Facebook, and I clicked on the link and got in there. I've been listening for a lot of people right from the beginning. I belong to two different guilds up here in BC, Fraser Valley Woodturners Guild plus the Greater Vancouver Woodturners Guild. And when I see people posting and talking stuff, they join some guild if you can. What you can learn through the guilds is just unlimited. I really recommend it. Our President's Challenge for the Vancouver Guild coming up is spalted wood. So this is a piece of spalted wood that I found that got lots of beautiful spalting in it.
Oh, yes.
Piece of maple. And
that's pretty.
I also believe you take classes whenever you can. So anybody that can find out about these classes and not take them. And I took a course with Michael Macho from New Mexico, and he made the Zorby texturing tool absolutely sing. And I wanted to know how to do it, so I actually got my wife to get me one, and I went through a lot of frustration. But he was able to do stuff like this on the inside, and I absolutely love it because it's not just putting a band on the outside of your piece; it's actually been able to do a lot on the end grain. And so I can't say the amount of hours I took to finally figure out how to get that thing to work. But that was kind of what I think it's well worth the time and effort to learn a tool that, even though it's frustrating, this one's got a big curve. We just had Roberto Ferrer come in and do an IRD for us, and he was all about doing the outside rims and wall art and that sort of thing. And I'd never done carving, so that was something I thought I would try. So this piece here was because he came in for the class, and what was a piece of cherry, BC cherry. And what I did is I actually did the whole lines. I drew out a whole pattern right through here, and I ended up putting in the coloring and the texturing and all that. And then I hollowed it out and finished it off that way. And that was a compliments of, again, taking a class that I've never done any of the carvings and that sort of thing. I've just turned the stuff out, but this was carving. So that was again why I do recommend anybody, if you have the chance, take classes, because what you get from these guys is just unbeatable. And that's the only two that I had to show you guys. I'm also making millions of pens, and those guys, just to be totally different, these pens, I've actually got into cactus juice and hardening, and these are basically end grain pieces. And it's a real challenge for anybody that makes a pen to take a 1x6 board, cut 1 inch off the end, and make a pen out of it. 99% of the time, that's going to chip out because it's got no stability. So I figured I would take on the challenge of saying, how can I get that little 1x6, 100% end grain to hard enough that I can turn a pen? So I got into this whole cactus juice system and the vacuum chambers and the whole bit, and I was able to take a piece of, and I can get these out every time, and the wood goes sideways, which instead of having the all pens so the grain's running up and down the piece, I wanted to come up with a pen that the grain ran across it and around it instead. So that was just lots of the stuff you get to play with.
Thank you, Gary. That's beautiful work.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
And welcome.
Yeah, welcome. Good to see you again.
Gary, that carving looks like you've been doing it for a long time. That was really pretty.
That was actually that was the second piece. Hang on. Because of the moon landing, Mars landing, I should say, and Pat Carroll, which is another person I follow online a lot. He's from Ireland. He did a bunch of round circles, and I thought, well, I'm going to do another piece because of Roberto. And the piece I would do this one with, I would actually try to put moon craters and make it look like the Mars landing. So that was this one here. And that was the same idea. It's a beautiful piece of, you can see the texture in it. It's a beautiful piece of figured maple. But what I wanted to do is come up with this rim because of that. And so those are all little millions of little tiny dots. Too close, I guess. But anyway, that was another piece because of Roberto coming in. And because of Pat Carroll, I'd seen him do the dots and all different sizes. So I actually combined Roberto's and Pat Carroll's and the Mars landing to make this piece.
Made your own. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Very
nice.
nice.
Excellent.
Right on.
I can see a little high spot in the middle, and you guys probably too.
Yeah.
But it's not, man, we can't do that butt thing. And just so you know, you just made Doug very jealous because your water dots are much more stand out. I mean,
I believe in it, you guys, if you have the chance. And I feel sorry for the people that don't live near clubs, because I was the president of the Fraser Valley Club for 5 years, and then I'm a past president now. But what I've learned from the people that are willing to share in the industry, or in the hobby, I guess you could call it, it's just unlimited. It's you know, I feel sorry for the people that don't have that
All
access.
skill sets, many skill sets out there.
and that's why we started this, and that's why we'll
What we're
keep it
trying to
going.
do. Foster it, share it, spread it.
Okay, it's 30 minutes after the hour. In 30 minutes, we pull the plug on the main program, but Trey's with us. And after I pull the plug on the program, because I'm not going to stop it, you can continue to chat, talk, gripe and all that. But remember the rules. It's got to be wood turning. You have to be civil. And there's absolutely positively no vulgar language. This is a family program. Who's up, Dane?
All right, Gerald's up next. Hey, Gerald.
There he is. Unmute. Let's go. It's your turn. That ain't it.
You're muted, Gerald.
There, it worked.
Eddie?
Got this bowl. It's made out of cherry wood, and I don't know if it's wingy or wenge. How do you say it? W-E-N-G-E.
Wingay.
Wingate.
Wenge.
It's 3 inches high and 7 inches across.
Man.
Wow,
Very
that's
nice.
beauty.
Pretty piece.
And that's a piece, solid
What's that
piece of
accent
wingy
on the bottom? What's that
I really
accent?
like the bottom of that.
Yeah.
That's wingy.
And the band around the outside is also wingy?
Yes.
Very
Whoa.
nice.
That
Wow,
is nice.
Man.
But I did
Reminds
learn
me of
something while
the-
doing this that I didn't expect. I got a rash all over the back of my hands and all over my chest. So I was wearing a mask, so I didn't get anything in my lungs or anything, but I'll wear a little more protection next time.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Wenge will do that to you. It's pretty bad for you. It's a sanitizer, and splinters can actually become septic if you don't pick them out of your hands.
All the warnings we like to hear. All right,
Yeah.
thank you very much, Joel.
Nice.
Nice piece, nice piece.
All right.
Beautiful. Mhm.
Who else we have, Dane?
Let's see. Let's go to Andy Phillips. Andy.
Andy's out there. And click him up, folks. We'll give you a little bit of high. But you
There
have
you
to
go.
talk. There he is.
There he is.
Okay, this is a bowl that it's mesquite. We're very fortunate in Texas to have a lot of mesquite. I'm very envious of y'all who have all this other beautiful wood. But anyway, the outside, I use the Jasana paints.
Oh my God.
Very
Oh,
nice.
And it's
That's
a
beautiful.
pretty thin bowl. I really went pretty deep. It's about 7 inches by 12 inches across. And I have one other thing. If you,
Oh, we'll bear with you after you show us
Absolutely.
that.
this is a piece of mesquite right near the trunk. It's really odd shaped. It was fun to turn. Came out pretty nice. It'll hold a lot of M&Ms or whatever. But
That's a good trick or treat bowl.
Yeah.
It's
Boy,
really,
Easter's coming. Brenda can fill it up with eggs.
now I have to second what the gentleman just before said. I am really fortunate, and last year I signed up to take a class with David Ellsworth, and of course that was canceled. And this year, on September the 10th, I'm going to North Carolina to take a class with him. I consider him probably one of the world's premium wood turners.
Not only that, but he's a very good instructor.
Well,
He can take it to you. You'll understand the technique.
his AAW number is 1, so he's been around. But no, I envy those, holly and cherry and persimmon and all that. We don't really have that unless we go somewhere and pay a premium to buy a little bitty piece. So,
Hey, Andy, I'd be willing to trade your flat rate boxes for mesquite.
there's
Sign me up, Matt.
well,
Matt, I'm down for that too. I'll send you.
I've got it. My deck is full of mesquite. I mean, I've got chunks out there.
Wow.
The only person who has a lot more than me probably is Joaquin Vincent, who a lot of you may know. He's on right now.
I probably got more than both of you put together.
I'm also friends with Wendy Williams.
I'm
who
out in
probably has
Tucson.
more than all y'all.
Well, it's to me, mesquite is one of the most beautiful woods to turn because it's so stable.
It is.
You can cut it, turn it, finish it all in one day, and it's not going to warp on you.
Right.
It's stable. And
Okay,
it's,
guys. Thank you, Andy. Let me interject it. If you guys are or gals are interested in swapping wood, trading off or whatever, put your contact information in chat. Remember, we don't have a membership list. We don't collect the emails. We don't collect any of that stuff. We do ask you if you have a YouTube channel that you tell us so we can put it on our website, because that's what we do, share information. But if you want to trade wood, put it in the chat. Thank you, Andy. Appreciate it. Some beautiful work there tonight.
Eddie, for your point, being from Canada, it's a real problem getting wood across the border. Like there's not allowed a bark or a wormhole or anything else. I buy wood from the United States quite often. I'm across certain wood we can get out of Oregon we can't get here. You have to make sure there ain't a single thing on it, and to swap wood across the border, You can go to the border crossings and you'll find boxes of wood outside of most of our border crossings where people have tried to bring wood across and they've just confiscated it.
Yep. Understandable. All right, let's see what Carl's got to show tonight. Hey, Carl.
Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
Loud and proud.
I've got a picture of a cremation urn I turned for my
Yes.
wife.
Yeah.
Saw that.
Saw that
I
online.
posted it on the website. I used several different woods, Bibinga, Sapele, Palpera, Corina, Purple Heart, and Zebra Wood.
Nice.
Very nice.
The reason I have it as a picture is I gave the urn to my mother-in-law so she could be with her daughter for a while.
Thank you, Carl. Appreciate you sharing that with us tonight. Some
Nice
beautiful
job.
work.
It's beautiful, Carl.
Thank you.
And folks, like Carl posted something directly to our website. You can do that also. You can go right to our Facebook page. You can put it on our website. We want to get your photographs. I collect them all the time. In fact, I'm writing the newsletter. I'll probably have to start it early this month just so I have enough time to get all the photographs in. So send them on. We're looking for them. Who else we're up with, Dane?
All right, so I'm looking for a Blair Denny.
Talk
That's actually me. GTC
Blair, Blair, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you talk?
I'm right here.
Well, no, keep talking so you'll pop up on the screen so I can find what your
right
actual
here.
handle
If
is.
you can hear me, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, okay, got it.
Hello. There we go.
There you are,
How
Blaine.
you doing?
Blair.
The way this technology works, folks, is we can see gallery, but only 49 people at a time. Right now, we have 90 or more on air. If you talk for a moment or so when we talk to you, then you pop up on our gallery, and we can jump in and connect you via video.
Right, and so the other thing that it will confuse me sometimes is you'll put down your name, but you don't put down the name that as you appear on Zoom. So your Zoom handle is GTD Blair, and you gave me what I picked up was Blair Denny.
Well,
Right on. We're good. Go ahead.
I actually was on a different computer and then I came down to my shop because I mean, all of this stuff,
okay.
I had to do some stuff. So
He might be turning under an alias, Dane. We don't want to bust this. And he might be in the alias protection.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Now he looks like he's underground now. So all right, go ahead.
Well,
That way we get to check out your shop too.
Well, at least my mess anyway.
Never
Anyway,
else.
well, yes, this is brand new to me, at least for the worldwide. I have my own YouTube channel, and matter of fact, I'll put it in the chat which one it is. I've been watching Captain Eddie for a long time. I've just never reached out, and I've commented a few times, but anyway, I know we're rushed for time. So you guys mentioned the 2x4 challenge.
Whoa. 2x4 challenge.
This was actually something I did about a couple weeks ago. Just a little pencil holder made out of 2x4.
Very nice.
Right on.
Has some really cool grain to it.
Yeah, it does. It's not the typical 2x4 grain.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then, not to take away from Doug, but you know, they have the other challenge that's for water. And I posted at the first of the month because I'm really quick at it. I've been doing this for a little while. But this is my water challenge.
That's pretty.
And
yeah, I watched your video on that, Blair. It looked great.
Thank you. This is
Nice.
actually a lot of fun to do, and it's really easy. And go watch Doug's video. He does a great job.
It'll be better when he does it for us. I mean,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Great.
All right. Hey, I think you earned a card.
Yeah, let's see.
There
Oh,
you go. Welcome to the
There
club.
it is.
Look at that. Woo.
Thank you,
Congrats, buddy.
gentlemen.
All right.
We call it sort of a joke with this, folks. We tease about the 2x4 club. It's not an easy piece of material to turn. It's a good piece of material to learn technique on. And if you make the 2x4 club, your name and your card goes on our website. So if you'd like to get it and print it, go ahead. I always get requests, hey, how can you get that card? That's how you get that card. All right, what's up?
And if you want to print my card, all you got to do is put my name in there and print it out.
Yeah, and put it on the wall. Like,
there you go. All right, let's go to Washington and see what George's got for us.
Good evening, George.
You're muted, George.
There
you
go. I'm trying to unmute. Captain Eddie, you never did get me on a 2x4.
I'm sorry,
list.
say again?
No, you never got me on the list, but I don't care. Anyway, I turned some. I did these a few years ago. They're walnut.
Nice.
And I went to Goodwill and I bought some quarter wine glasses, and I just took a diamond cutting wheel on my Dremel tool, scorched the stem, scratched the stem a little bit, and then popped them off in the garbage can. And that's as easy as it is to do.
All right, thank you, sir.
Put you on the 2x4 club. Sorry, I
Thank
missed
you.
But I checked the book. Hey, Dean, check the book. I think he's in there.
Yeah,
I didn't see me.
I'm sure.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, see, yeah, you're there.
I'm gonna print that out giant big and put it up in the shop.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
All right, thanks, George.
Yeah.
Okay, Joaquin, you're up, buddy, but I can't find you on the list.
Okay, I'm over here. Do you see me? Hear me?
Yeah, I
Here
can
I
hear
am.
you.
Okay.
All
right.
There he is.
All right, Eddie got him.
Well,
Thanks.
after Dean got through doing them crosses on a branch, I had to do that. This is a piece of oak. And,
I like it being offset. That's really nice.
and thank you, sir. And this is a Texas Ebony one.
Ooh.
Wow.
That's pretty.
Oh my.
I really hadn't polished it up yet. It's that's just natural, and it'll shine like glass, and y'all know that.
It's drool time again. Wipe the drool off, folks. Wipe the drool off.
I really
Like
don't
the
think
two
you should
tone.
be turning that Texas Ebony like that. Why don't you just send that to me and I'll take care of it.
I hear you. And so
Okay,
I shared with y'all before, I was doing some of these kaleidoscope eggs, and this one is a
brick.
That's not under the light's not very.
Is that segmented, Joaquin?
Yeah, it's segmented. It's I don't know where can I.
Wow.
Right there. Come down a little.
Okay.
Right there.
Okay. Yeah,
There you
it's bird's eye maple, and it's got red dyed veneer in it. I think I counted 41 pieces in there. Of course, I didn't do it in pieces, I did it this way and then cut them this way, so it come out pretty good.
Good job.
Thank you.
Really nice.
Is that one of the kaleidoscope kits from Woodcraft or something?
Yes, it is. It's a Woodcraft kit, the kaleidoscope kit.
I've got a few of them on my pegboard. I'm yet to turn one.
Yeah, and you got to be precise on the length, so they can be too short or too long. And these are going to the Driscoll Children's Hospital before Easter.
Yeah.
Oh man, great. For the kids. For the kids.
Thanks, Joaquin.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
17 minutes before the top of the hour, folks. You're on worldwidewoodturners.org. Wake up, Matt.
I'm here.
Morning.
In keeping with the moon landing piece that was shown earlier, I did this a while back. This is carved. You can hear it. It's a hollow sphere. And it's
it looks like the COVID virus.
Yeah, good. Well, this was done before that, maybe. I don't know. But this started off as Bradford pear, and it's got that Rust-Oleum spray stone stuff on it. So it's textured, and then I carved it and painted in painted in the holes and the rays and stuff. So
I got to back up to the beginning. You said it's hollow.
yeah, it's hollow. It's a sphere. Can you hear that?
Okay, is it two parts?
Yeah, it's made like a box.
Oh, okay.
Two halves? Cool.
Yeah. And I made a little black stand for it.
Cool.
Oh,
That's
right.
nice.
Nice.
That's
Neat
great.
piece, man.
That's fun.
Rust-Oleum
Matt.
wood finish.
Yeah, I don't know what I think
The
it's
stone
Rust-Oleum.
paint.
Yeah, but it's a
Stone coat.
stone textured stone paint, so it comes off stone. And I don't know if you guys have seen Ron Campbell's stone spears that he did a year or two ago. But they're done with the same textured paint. So it's a really neat and very versatile product. And you can, once you spray it to get the texture, you can spray another color over it or something like that. So
Huh.
Really nice.
Good to know.
Pretty cool.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Matt. All right. Well, let's go to Scott. I believe Scott is new. First time.
Good evening, Scott.
Welcome, Scott.
You're muted, Scott.
Oh, you're muted.
Scott, you're muted.
Your mic's not working.
How about that?
You're off of mute, but we're not hearing you.
Now you're muted again.
That little screen goes up and says we're experiencing technical difficulties. Y'all saw that as
How's
a.
There we
There
go.
we got you.
There we go.
All right.
Yeah.
I got two. This one was the first turning I did 21 years ago. It's made out of a 4x4 redwood fence post.
Ah,
Somebody, and then I
practicing beads and
upgraded.
canoes.
Now I make these out of the 4x4 fence posts.
Oh, that's neat. I like that.
I do.
I bet you sell a lot more of them.
You ought to post a picture of those on the website.
Yeah.
That's gotta be a 2x4 thingy.
I probably
Yeah,
sell like
it-
25 of these a year, thereabouts. So something I make out of construction materials.
Nothing
Did you use a skew?
Part of it, yeah. Yeah.
You ought to post a picture of those on the website.
Oh yeah, I can do that. I've got photos of me making them, all kinds of stuff. So now this part I make with the skew, but then I actually use a bidan to carve away this part real quick.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you
Torching on
flame?
the hat.
Did you
really
do
makes it
flame
cool.
burnishing on the hat?
Yeah, I just take a propane torch to it.
Yeah.
Comes out all straight.
We can't do two cards for him, but I think we have a card for him right now, Dane.
Well, let's go check this one out. Look at this.
I like your grandpa's
Card.
workshop
Hey,
sign.
yeah, there we go. All right.
Ooh, juniper is nice stuff.
Cool.
Good stuff. All right. Well, let me double check chat here. In case somebody, oh, well, I got
Who you got?
somebody spotlight
I
me.
know
Okay.
Dane's got something to show.
So, let me take the camera and leave this over here. That way I can show it under the light.
We're gonna go Dane.
So I took from the demo that was done last week.
Hold
with
on, I
the
gotta
string
find.
pull.
I gotta find Dane. Dane, keep talking. There we go.
There we are. Found you.
Got me?
Yep.
Now I got to get back to where I can see my screen.
All right.
There we go.
Nice. Nice purple.
And I lost my view. Sorry, give me a minute. Something happened here.
These pieces Dane posted the other
Okay.
day. Awesome.
And so, piece of green mesquite, literally cut off of my Chilean mesquite tree a week ago. Done it as vase. It's got 3/16 inch walls, dyed black on the inside. And then I used purple lacquer with a gloved hand base to put it on. So there's like 2 or 3 coats on there to give a, it's super smooth, but it looks kind of funky. It looks cool. And then so with the string paint, I took with some metallic acrylic paints And I did the string technique that Doug showed last week.
Very cool.
That is nice.
Yeah, that looks great.
See,
Yeah,
Doug, they watched it last week, Doug.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm always paying attention. I still got to
Looks
get me a
good.
cross done though. But yeah, it turned out good. Going back east, I'm going back to Kentucky on Friday. Me and my wife to see her grandmother. And I plan on harvesting some of the local woods there. So I'm going to be bringing my chainsaw, but I won't be in my shop next week during the meeting, or the week after, or the week after. But still be taking care of duties. If not, I will definitely let Eddie know otherwise.
All
So
right. We got a lot of co-hosts today. We want everybody steps up to the plate when you need to.
absolutely. No, but I plan on still doing the meetings and everything like that. So I won't be working hard. Definitely. Never am.
Billy Garrett, got to let you know it hit here. So if I blank out, Trey's going to grab Grace. Trey has still got the master control.
Okay.
If I blank out, I just won't be here, but the program will continue on because my 140-pound black lab just now jumped in my lap when the light flapped.
Yeah, it looks like
Eddie,
we
I
got a
was
new.
almost afraid to transfer it back to you because you killed us once. So
I think I'm still listed as a co-host.
you're a co-host,
Well-
but you're not the host. I never transferred host back to you. I did it one time, and you killed everybody online.
I know, but yeah.
All right. Well, hey, Jason's got something he wants to show, so let's jump out to Jason.
Oh, Jason comes in late every week. What's he got?
Looks dusty in there.
Not always late. I'm usually here fairly early.
Is it snowing?
Daylight savings time has me kind of messed up right now.
Doug Rowe loves this time of year.
No, it snowed pretty good this weekend though, and I probably had about a 3-foot drift all the way out to my little shop. But let's see.
Go ice fishing.
Yeah, I thought about it. Let's see. So last week during the meeting, I usually do my turning while I'm out here. I got that little vase. It actually turned out pretty good. It was an old 2x4 laying on the ground outside. So, and then thanks to Mark Sillay, I just picked up some of that Parfix. So I'm working on this guy right now. And I just put a coat on the outside and it actually works pretty well. So.
Nice piece of juniper.
Cedar actually.
Yep, same thing.
Yep. Smells wonderful in here though.
Or Eastern red cedar.
Love it.
It was 2x4.
That's what I got. Yep.
Dang, he earned it. He earned it.
Right
Put it up
on.
there.
Thank you, Jason. Let's see.
Yep.
Oh, let's see.
Check the sheet, Dane. I think he's up.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring you up, but I think I told you to. I think I killed your video. There you go.
Oh, you sure did. Now we got it.
There you go, Jason.
Awesome.
Long last.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Anybody else that I missed? Speak up
Time to
now.
step up. Hey, let me take this moment here, folks. If you have not participated in our program, why? It's your club. It really is. I want to beat this drum till it stops ringing. It is your club. It's not controlled by anybody. We're here each Wednesday evening. We're supposed to start at 7 o'clock and end at 8 o'clock. That didn't work. So now we start talking at 6 o'clock and I leave at 9 o'clock. But you guys and gals stay on and chat and do whatever you want. We're limited to 300 people. We're at about 92 or 93 right now. We have a lot of folks involved. We want you involved. You can send your photographs to our website. You can send photographs to our YouTube page. Our Facebook page. You can send photographs to our Gmail account because we want to see what you're turning and we share it with the world. That's part of the deal. And if you got a technique you want to share, what is it? Let's see. Tonight we saw 3 shop-made tools. Those are 3 shop-made tools that we had on here tonight. And those, I mean, the one with the snap-on collet, I gotta
release.
wonder why. I gotta really wonder why I don't have one of those. Ronnie's probably gonna come check my shop to make sure I don't have one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to make one of those too. That's pretty handy.
Yeah.
I totally am. I think I actually have one of those somewhere that I'm not.
Yeah, but Eddie, is Ronnie gonna leave it in your shop if he finds it?
Ronnie won't leave it in my shop if he finds it. He'll come out and say, I looked everywhere. You know, it's been a long time since him and I got together to do some turning because of the COVID virus thing and all, and other problems. I had a rough year with, I can't drive anymore and things like that. But it was so good to go to a friend's workshop and turn wood, tell lies, learn techniques and everything else. If you don't get a chance to do it, you're not living right. But that's why we get together each week. We want to get together, share ideas, no restrictions, no limitations. And we remember, wood turning, be kind, and no vulgarity. That's all we ask. And you can be part of it. Anything else tonight, gentlemen, ladies?
Yes, I have a question. This is Glenn. Hey,
Go ahead, Glenn.
Yes, I was during Ronnie's demonstration, he was talking about using the blue paper towel. And I thought I heard it before. Is there an advantage using the blue paper towels instead of just the regular white paper towels?
I don't know, Ronnie's opinion might be. Ronnie, you still with us?
Yeah, I just let him in. I think Ronnie said he was using Scott towels.
No, this is a blue painter's paper towel that comes from Home Depot or Lowe's. I find that it doesn't have as much lint as a regular white paper towel. It's got much less lint than tissue paper where I started from, and Kleenex, which Kleenex has got some kind of thing in it a way when you wipe your nose it doesn't make it burn. So Kleenex is out of the question, out of the thing. But I think the lint travel. Ronnie might have bagged out tonight. I don't see him on the chart right now.
There he is. The thing I use is Bounty. Just remember, never use Viva because it'll shed fibers.
Yeah.
Never use what?
Never use Viva. It'll shed fibers. But just use a hard white Bounty or Members Mark towel. That works great for wiping all this finish on and wiping it off.
Yeah, the blue shop towels are sturdier. They don't break apart as easily too.
Yeah, you got to think about what those towels.
Can you hear me now?
Who's there?
Eddie, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, Ronnie.
Okay, the weather knocked me off, and I've been trying to get back on. What that gentleman said, go your Home Depot, the blue paper towels. That's the one that I'm using.
Shop made paper towels.
Now, Glenn, we run them through the bandsaw and cut them into about a 2.5-inch strips while they're still in a roll, just a whole roll through the bandsaw. But be careful because that going into your bandsaw is going to be a clockwise rotation on a clockwise base, a blade, and it will suck itself in. So turn it backwards instead of forward when you run it through.
Okay.
I heard it happens. It didn't happen to me. I heard it happens. Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate it. All right. Anybody else?
Thank you.
I got a question, Eddie.
Who's that? That's Brenda.
Go ahead, Brenda.
Yeah, I got a question. Can we real quickly, each one of you tell me what kind, like name brand or whatever, what kind of lathe you have and what size it is?
Oh boy.
I'm kind of looking
It's only a 3-hour program, Brenda. I don't know how you do this. I use a one-way
bigger
24.
one, mine just keeps falling apart.
I use a one-way 24-36. My one-way was a gift from a friend. I stepped up from a wood fast. I stepped up from a Jet. I stepped up from a Sears. I stepped up from a Harbor Freight. So I've stopped. And that's where I'm at. Who else? Come on, give me some ideas.
I use a Powermatic 3520B.
Yeah,
Powermatic 3520B.
Powermatic 3520B. I also have the Jet 1221 VS, which I can transport myself. I can lift it in and out of my car. It's a MIDI lathe. It's a great lathe. I love that too if you prefer a MIDI.
Yep.
I've got the Powermatic 4224 Bravo, and I've got a little Shop Fox benchtop lathe. It's kind of a generic version of Jet, I guess.
Our first sergeant's in the house, folks. There he is.
Doug. I have a 2436 with all the bells and whistles, and I also have a General International VS Plus, which was the MIDI lathe. That was sort of my starter lathe. Now that one goes to shows and travels with me.
I use a Nova DVR XP, the old Nova DVR. I don't remember what model has replaced it, but it's been a great lathe for me. Nice variable speed reverse also, and I've got a little jet, a little mini jet that I use for pens and little stuff.
So Brenda, if this might help you out a little bit, as you can see, as many wood turners as we got in here, we have almost that many different lathes. And I get where you're going, you're shopping around, and I did the same thing. I would say shop around as best you can to narrow it down to what you think you want, and then throw that back out there. So what I had narrowed mine down to the Powermatic 4224 that I have, and the American Beauty by Robust. And thanks to all your guys' tax dollars, I was able to afford that. So appreciate that. But
you earned that.
But in all seriousness, there's so many different lathes out there and so much to choose from. What sold me on the Powermatic over the American Beauty was the extra bells and whistles that came with it for essentially the same price. But I had to walk away from the American made and go buy the Chinese made, and I wasn't too happy about that. But that was, that's where it came down to. So I guess once you kind of narrow it down to a few that you like, then reach back out to all of us, and you'll find somebody that has one, and we can tell you, the pros and cons to it, if that helps.
And we can refer
American Beauty.
We can refer all this back to Captain Frugal, that when you're ready to make a decision, decide where to buy it. And I would recommend you contact the manufacturer directly if they take direct orders, because that's where it starts from, and that's where the deal comes from.
And don't forget to look at the Vicmar lathes. I don't have one, but I have turned on one. I've turned on the American Beauty, and the Vicmar lathe had less vibration than the American Beauty because it was a cast bed. And the American Beauty is a beautiful lathe, but I had a lot less vibration. I've taken Stuart Batty's class a couple times, and I turned on Vicmar one time and American Beauty on the other, and I got more vibration on the American Beauty than I did on the Vicmar.
Yeah, I've
So
heard
don't forget to look at that.
Okay, I've never heard of that one.
I think
it's out
Wood
there.
Turning
Emporium is the only company I think that sells it in the States. But
Yeah, they're out of Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And I recommend, if there's any club members that will allow you to find out if you have a club nearby, and if you can go by some of their shops and check out their lathes in person.
Yeah.
And if not, if you have a woodcraft store nearby, maybe they have lathes on display that you can go look at too in person. I wouldn't just go by pictures in a catalog. There's a lot of stuff you'll miss.
Right.
If you can see them in person, that's the way to go.
Yeah, touch it, feel it, see how it slides.
Even if you know someone who might have one that you might be interested in purchasing, maybe contact them, pop by for a test spin, and that will sort of solidify your choice.
Yeah.
But
I do know one guy that has a big Powermatic, and that one was just a little too big. Kind of scared.
It's not too big.
Yeah, it's never too big.
It's not too big until you get it in your shop, and then you'll
As
be like,
the saying
it's just the
goes.
right size.
Yeah, you can turn little stuff on a big lathe, but you can't turn big stuff on a little lathe.
That's true. It all comes down to the budget too, and what you can afford. So if you can afford something bigger that you will not outgrow eventually, I would go with that route, because you can always, like Doug said, you can always turn smaller stuff on a big lathe.
Yep.
And I don't know that this is a great source to get my information from, but I'd seen on TikTok that an asteroid's going to hit the Earth pretty soon anyway. So just use your credit card and buy whatever you want.
We're talking about turning small stuff. I guess I have to spotlight to see it.
Yep, you're there.
I can see
Okay.
it.
This was turned on a 24-inch lathe.
Yep.
And including the ring, the floating ring on the little goblet.
The captive ring.
Beauty. I keep it covered and protected for that reason, but you can turn small stuff on the big lathe, but and this, as I say, on a 24-inch lathe. So
I've seen
I do a lot of architectural turning, in production work. So I have a 35 Powermatic 3520B, and then I have 3 Jet 1642s, and I do 90% of all of my work on the Jet 1642s. I like them, but do not. I'll just say this, right? Don't buy the Jet 1640, right? Because what they did is they reversed the knob, right? Put the speed control knob above the shutoff knob, and it's every time you make a right-handed cut and your left side is up against the blade, you'll roll the speed control up. You have to make a protector for it. But they're nice, and Jet stands behind everything, and I've got the Jet warranty. All of the Jet and the Powermatic guy, he does all the warranty work. He lives about 30 miles from me, so you can get anything repaired instantly.
I've got a my big lathe is a Jet 1240 or 12 something, I don't know. Anyway, the C clamp or the E clamp, I think it's called, in the tailstock keeps falling out or keeps breaking. I've replaced the thing at least 3 times, and it fell out again today.
Mercy.
Yeah, really aggravated with this Jet.
Yeah, I'm a member of a club that has a bunch of Delta 12-inch variable speed lathes, and we've had trouble getting parts for those. So I'd keep that in mind.
My mini lathe is a Delta. I have trouble with it.
That'll be the same with the Generals and the General Internationals. They're hard to get for them too. So
that's something to keep in mind.
Something to keep in mind. I know Robust, Vicmark, and One Way, they all have very good customer service. Sometimes the ones that are offshore, the customer service isn't as good.
Doug Rowe, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Doug's still with us?
Doug, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I hear you.
I have a question for you. We both have the same type of lathes. I got a 4224. I was having a problem with my work lights. They were intermittent. Have you had a problem with yours intermittent?
Yes, and what I found out was it was all the sawdust up in there. Pulled my light bulbs out, blew them out, and whatever, and they started working better again.
Okay, because I got in touch with Powermatic today, and they're sending me two complete lights in the mail free of charge.
Oh, in that case, yes, I'm having problems. What's the phone number? No, but I did, but it was just all the dirt and grit that was getting up in there from the sand and everything. So I blew them all out and they started working again.
That was a typical Army answer. You got it. Give it to me.
One of these days, though, I do have to FaceTime with you and see how you did it on yours. But so you know how it comes with the Century vacuum pump already on it, but there's it comes also with the little 1/4-inch air hose, so you can have both your vacuum pump going and then still have shop air coming through. And I have yet to figure out how to attach that additional hose.
Mine came attached. The only thing I did was push the hose on a fitting.
You know, Ronnie, we'll have to come take a video of that and post it.
Yeah, I have air at the same time I can pull vacuum.
Yeah, and I know I'm supposed to, but I don't know. I think the Air Force or the Navy put that thing together before.
Hey.
Air Force.
It's just
Hey.
way too confusing.
Watch
I
it,
don't
you're in
see any
Tucson.
pictures. There's just
Watch it
words.
now.
Hey, you're in Tucson.
Maybe
They
the
got a big
Coast
air
Guard.
base down there. Be careful.
Yeah,
No,
we do.
that's Dane's in Tucson.
I'm in
I'm up in
Tucson.
Fresno. Although technically
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sitting in
Wrong
Phoenix
one.
right now.
Remember the rule, be civil.
Now, was it made in China?
Who's the Army call when they get in trouble? Air Force. We need air support.
I've actually been there, and that's a true story.
Yeah.
You guys drop big things that go boom, and they pick stuff for us pretty quick.
Hey, I'm a former ammo troop. I can tell you, without ammo, that airline's just one ugly airline. That's it, without ammo.
Hey,
You
Doug.
don't fly, you don't fly.
Yeah.
Doug, if you want, you call me and we'll go FaceTime and I'll show you exactly what mine looks like.
Okay, I'm down in Phoenix today. I got to stay the night down here, so it probably won't be but a few more days, and then I'll be able to do that with you. Maybe
Yeah,
this
I ain't
weekend.
going outside tonight, but tomorrow, anytime during the day, I'm retired and I'm home, so we can do that if you want.
Okay. And you know, with that said, that's just another cool thing about this club. Like Brenda and I, what was it, yesterday, the day before, Brenda, you and I were talking, you know, we FaceTimed really quick. And like I've met so many people and have done that because of this club. And it's awesome.
Yep.
Tell you
Caught
what.
me off guard. He just called me up. Like, my hair ain't even done.
And I was out with my wife. I got to talk to both of them at the same time.
I tell you what, not to pat everybody that's on this site on the back, but this is the best thing that's ever happened to wood turning, because we have the technology and all from all around the world.
You went mute.
Yeah.
We have a heck of a storm coming on us. Where I'm at is probably ankle deep. Billy Dillett bailed out, probably got a little bit of rough weather in Houma. We have a front moving through right now, so we lost Ronnie. He'll be back with us again in a moment.
I'm here.
Okay, you were talking. We didn't see or hear anything, Ronnie.
Oh, okay. I was saying this is the best thing that ever happened to wood turning, this club, because with everybody participation, all the information that everybody brings forth, I mean, this is great, you know, and this is not Eddie or I, this is all of you that are participating in this club.
I agree, Ronnie. This is like the best thing that's happened to me. You know, I don't have a club around me, and I know one person, which is about 20 minutes from me, that I can, you know, go and share wood with and ideas and stuff. But other than that, you guys all I got.
Well, we're glad to have you, Brenda. And what they were telling you about these lathes, the first thing you got to do is how deep are your pockets, how much you want to spend, and the main thing, when you make this next step, you want it to be final. You know, you don't want to buy another lathe and then say, well, I wish I'd have bought this other one. You know.
Right.
Ronnie, you can't have too many tools.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's why I keep telling everybody, you can't have too much wood either. I keep buying wood. My girlfriend says, you don't need no more wood. I'm like, you can't have too much wood.
Yeah, I've only got 3 lathes, so.
3?
Yeah,
3.
I got 3.
You're
But
slacking.
if you can, buy once, cry once, because I know it won't go.
Somebody's got some audio. Somebody's got some audio.
Jay.
Somebody's turning.
Sounds like somebody's grinder that was on.
All right, we're a little clear now.
Sorry, that was me. I didn't realize I was off mute.
You're just checking to see who was paying attention, huh?
Hey, Jason,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to do a demo for that then.
No.
Jason woke Doug up.
I've been awake.
Well, we were talking about
Indeed.
lathes. I have a Harbor Freight special that's been modified with a treadmill motor.
There you go.
And I'm actually, the other motor burned up on it, so I just got creative, put a treadmill motor on it and a controller, and it's probably a better lathe than it ever was before.
You're probably
My
right.
first lathe was a Craftsman lathe with a washing machine motor.
Well, with this one, with the treadmill motor, they're DC, so I can run forward and reverse. And before I could only get down to about 550 RPM, and now I can get down to like 100 or less.
There you go.
I did that to a Mini for a friend of mine. I put a treadmill motor on it, and he's put a bed extension on it. He does pull cues out of it. And he does everything on that machine. I mean, the finishing and all, because he can spin it up, spin it down. It's beautiful transition. I wish I'd kept the machine, but that's all right.
Yeah, I'm using a Jet 1221 here in wood shop at my apartment, and it's all right, but I have to sit down most of the time at it, so I've got the stand fixed a little bit different. But in my other shop, I had two one-ways, a 1224 and a 1236. That was a sit-down lathe, that 1236, and I used that a lot. And I had a General, and I don't remember the number of it. It was much bigger. But you talk about what is it? Texas Turner 2. What's the one in Texas?
SWAT.
I won that 1224 one-way when the last year it was called Texas Turner 2. I bought the first 12 tickets for $10 or $20 or something that was sold, and won it. And there was some other fellow there I heard the next year when I was out there that he spent $200 on tickets because he wanted that lathe. And here I won it with one of the first 12 tickets that was sold. One of his buddies said he cried.
I'd have offered to sell it to him.
It only cost me $200 and some to get it shipped from, I think it was $250 to get it shipped from Texas to close to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
That would fit in your carry-on, right?
Well, not quite. But I have used that lathe a lot, really a lot. That was in 2003. I won that.
I had taken a trip up to Alaska, and I actually came back with 80 pounds of salmon in my carry-on. I got some weird looks at security.
Yeah, yeah.
It was all frozen, but I made it back.
Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah.
My lathe is.
If you chat and speak up, unmute yourself and go.
My lathe is a Shopsmith, 1953. It's really old greeny, but it allows me to do variable speed, and I got a bed length about 34 inches on it, so I can turn like a baseball bat size.
Do you have the speed reducer on it?
I don't have the speed reducer on that one. I have another 12-inch. I can't even think of the brand name is. It's really inexpensive lathe. It's like a Harbor Freight lathe that I use for that can get down to lower speeds. But for all my bowls and everything, I still use the Shopsmith, even though it's a little too fast for some of it. I've learned to work around it.
Good.
I
Right.
have a,
Shopsmith was my very first lathe. And so again, I live up in Prescott Valley. I drove all the way to Tucson to buy this thing, hauled it all the way home, no training, no nothing, saw it on YouTube. So of course I can do it. And I broke it. I broke essentially what would be the banjo, but being a shopsmith, it's a transformer. So it converts into all kinds of things. But essentially what is the banjo is what I broke. So I convinced the wife, well, I'll just go into Craigslist and buy another one. That way I'll have spare parts. Dang it, if I didn't break the exact same part. And that's when I finally went to a dedicated lathe and I found an old 1980s Delta at an estate sale. And I had that one forever until I finally upgraded to the Powermatic that I got now.
I've got two if you need another one, Doug.
Nope. If I never see one again, I'll be all right with it. A lot of hard lessons learned on those shop sets. Did you know you're not supposed to use drywall screws on a faceplate? That's where I learned that lesson on my shop set. About killed my dog as my piece of wood came flying off and landed right next to my dog. Yeah, don't use drywall screws on a Shopsmith or any other lathe.
And
they go in so
those things
easily.
way fast.
I have a question for the group here. I have a Shop Fox, which uses the Reeves drive, and I can't get it to turn at a slow enough speed to be safe with big things. Anybody have any ideas on changing that over easily, or am I kind of stuck? The reason I bought it was because it's big cast legs. It was big, heavy, had a big motor, but being a newbie, I didn't understand that I needed slower speeds and reverse and that sort of thing. Anybody have any thoughts?
Are there step pulleys on it where you can change the drive? Okay.
No, the Reeves drive is like, well, I'd say a snowmobile drive, but you wouldn't understand that in Louisiana. There are two pulleys that, based on where you put them, they expand or contract. And right, exactly, Dane. And it, well, it's like a CVT transmission in the new cars. You've got a drive and a driven pulley, depending upon how much you squeeze it, changes the speed, but it won't go down low enough. About 600 is best I can get.
Did you try to grease the springs and the wheels?
Yes, I did.
Because that'll help them.
They're called sheaves.
The what?
What are they called?
Jibs.
They're called sheaves.
Yep.
My first lathe was a Delta with those Reeves drives in it. I broke 2 sets of that and beat the lathe to death before I upgraded.
Yep. Yeah, my first lathe was a Grizzly and it had the Reeves drive and I did the same thing.
I've got a big bowl lathe that it was made with one of the original Reeves drive. The belt's about 2.5 or 3 inches wide, and it'll go slow, but it makes a racket when it does because those sheaves are just clanging.
Yeah, they're probably made out of some serious steel instead of the aluminum that mine were made out of, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, mine's aluminum. It's, well made for a Taiwan low price one, but it's just not very suitable for big balls, which is what I like to do.
Right, the unbalanced end of it, yeah.
So that bottom end on that Shop Fox is probably as low as you'll ever get it without changing out the whole thing. You can't change it from a Reeves drive to a variable speed at a reasonable price, really. You're almost going to have to just buy a new lathe.
Well, you could probably change the motor out, put a 3-phase motor and a torque converter on it, but
yeah,
it may not be worth the money to do that on that lathe.
Yeah.
We did that. We did that in our shop and for our club. We had a jet lathe with just the step pulleys on it, and we swapped it out to a 3-phase and put a torque converter on it, which it costs about $400 or something like that, something in that range, $300 to $400.
Anybody else up tonight? Open forum.
Tell you what, guys, you guys are killing me on the Reeves Drive thing. That's what I've got is I've got 2 Harbor Freight ones, and so far it's been doing pretty good. The only gripe I have is it's underpowered, but you guys telling me this thing's gonna die on me.
Well, I'm not
Well,
gonna,
not so much.
mine's not gonna die on me, I don't think. But it's just not suitable because it won't go slow enough there.
And that's
Yeah,
why I
that's what I was
converted
gonna say, Blair.
mine to
I'm hard on equipment, so.
DC.
I'm hard on equipment, so, you know, if you're gentle, maybe it won't, maybe you'll be fine.
I'm not, I'm a newbie. My tool presentation still leaves a lot to be desired.
We're going to work on that for you. We really are. We had a demonstration by Cade a couple of weeks ago on some Easter eggs. Kane turned some eggs and he used a skew all the way through. And Brenda's with us tonight. Brenda turned an egg, she used a skew. Then she did a vase and she used a skew. So he showed technique is what we're more interested in. I can't teach you art. This is my favorite thing. Art comes from the heart, right?
Night, man.
You can't teach art. It's what is in your eye and your heart. But what's in your hands, you can manipulate and you can learn technique. We want technique. That's the important thing.
Well, I have been improving my technique quite a bit, and a lot of that helped from Cade. I loved his demo, and then watching Mark Sillay's wood slicing demos. His 4-part on wood slicing through Bonnette wood turners. Fantastic set of videos. Learned an awful lot from Mark.
Yeah, it makes you really wonder what were you doing before you saw what Mark's doing.
Absolutely.
Yes, I watched Mark Sillay's slicing videos too. It helped me a lot.
Really helps, doesn't it, Brenda?
I've probably watched them at least 15, 20 times.
Yeah, I've watched them multiple times.
And I could tell you, this right here has taught me a lot.
Good. I'm glad it did that. Dane, you only brought 1 beer. What's the deal here?
Oh, no, I'm only drinking one at a time, Eddie.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Eddie and everybody, I've got to leave now because I've got to get up early in the morning. So
Good seeing you, Mr. Brown.
good to see you there again
Bye,
tonight.
John.
See you next week.
Take
Good
care,
night.
folks.
Good night, buddy.
Hey,
I
Dave,
saved the chat.
Right? Save the chat.
Save your
Yep.
chat.
Yeah.
I just did, just so y'all know. I didn't forget this week.
hey, Dane, don't you know if you take a real big glass and you pour 2 beers into it, it becomes 1 beer?
Absolutely.
There you go. Speaking of which,
When you guys see me getting up and down, I'm either going to the bathroom or I'm going to get another beer.
And if you go to one, you need the other. If you go to the other, you need one.
That's right.
All right, look at Cade. He's getting into the hard stuff here.
it's happy hour,
Open there.
Hey, that's part of the Wednesday night ritual. Get
right?
that right, Cade.
Cheers.
Cheers, brother.
I'll toast to that. Cheers.
Hey, Blair, you still there?
Blair, I don't
Uh-oh.
see Blair. I don't know what Brad.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
Okay. I don't think any of us mean to tell you your Reeves drive lathe is going to lay down on you. It's just, I think you've seen it. I think I've noticed it in a couple of your videos that sometimes you wish you could slow down a little more, and that Reeves drive just is not going to let you slow down.
Right.
You know, it's the slowest speed on it is awful fast.
Agreed.
So that's where your issue comes in.
Yeah.
And here's a warning for you, sir. Don't anybody tell you to put a rheostat on it and slow it down.
No.
You
Or a
will
light
burn that
cover
motor up.
switch.
It will burn that up.
Hey, does anybody know what kind of lathe Kim has?
She's got a Laguna.
Really?
Look,
Does your
Yeah.
Laguna go down to 50?
the model she has will.
Yeah, I was
Brent?
thinking she said hers did.
Hey, Brent, are you still there? Brent?
I thought Kim had the 1642.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure those those two models will go down to 25 or 50 RPMs.
Didn't Kim have a problem with the spindle?
She had a lot of problems with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of people had a lot of problems with the spindle overheating.
I've heard that too, or the
Yep.
banjo.
You got to consider this, folks, on a three-phase motor. When you tune it down for rotation, there's a lot of heat generated on the I want to say it's not a transformer, but on the step down. And so if you're going to run slow, make sure it stays cool. Otherwise, it will shut itself off with the protections.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
there was a problem with Laguna lathes. I don't know, probably the last 5-6 years, where the bearings and the spindle were packed too tightly, and you could put a laser thermometer on it, and they were running over 100, 120 degrees, and it was just cooking the grease internally.
Yep.
It wasn't gonna lock up.
Yeah, I heard that too.
But they're a pretty good company. They'll come to your rescue.
Right, they stand behind their equipment, you know, as far as I know. I had an issue with my on-off switch on my Laguna bandsaw, and they sent me 4 different ones all at once, you know. Use whichever one that'll work for you. And I was happy with that. It didn't cost me anything. They even made a video on how to put it in, because I'm not an electrician.
When I had my converter rebuilt by One Way, the one they sent me back, they didn't rebuild the one I sent them. They sent me another one. It was wired differently. I sat on the floor with Ronnie in my shop, and by Facebook, with FaceTime or whatever on a telephone, the folks at One Way helped me wire that thing to put it back together again.
Nice.
It took about an hour. They sat there with me and did it. You don't.
Yeah. That's amazing.
You don't get that.
Those guys will stay on the phone with you and talk you through a problem, regardless of how long it takes.
Yeah. Yeah, their customer service is top notch.
You're talking to the family when you call there. So
right.
Yep. Yep. And if you're close, they'll drive right out and do it for you in your shop.
yeah, but I'm not going to live that far north. Trust me.
I only live about an hour from their big factory. So when I went and bought my big lathe, I actually went and I did a tour of the facility and talked to them about which lathe I wanted to get, and ordered it right then and there.
Are all of the bigger lathes, like we're talking, you know, the Powermatic and all that, are they all a 3-phase?
Typically.
No, they are not.
No, they're all single phase input. But the motors are 3-phase that use a torque converter that takes single phase into it. So you do not have a 3-phase issue in your shop.
No, mine runs on 220 and only on a double throw 20 amp breaker. It doesn't draw a lot of power.
Yep.
It's on 220.
That's what mine runs on.
Yeah, I was amazed when I hooked mine up. The electrician put the amp meter on it, just how few amps they really do draw.
But the motors themselves are 3-phase motors.
Yes.
But the input to the torque converter is single phase.
Yeah.
Either 110 or 220, depends on which one you have and what the power is, if you know, of the lathe.
And I like that the One Ways have the magnetic switch. So even if you keep it plugged in and there's a power outage, you have no worry of that power surge frying the servo or the motor.
Okay.
There you go, Brenda. You asked a question 33 minutes ago. I think we got an answer for you.
Yeah. No, I'm still just as confused.
Okay.
I'm real happy with the One Way.
Yeah, me too.
I have the 2436 One Way and love it. And I also have a 10-inch One Way that I do most of my turning on and love it too. So
Brenda,
Yes.
when a lathe's right, when you step up next to it, you're gonna know it.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Okay.
And the height of the lathe has got a lot to do with how much you like it. You love it.
Yeah.
And there's no formula. Stand in front of it. If you feel awkward, you may need, the lathe may need to go up, but most of the time with lady turners, you need to go up. So you need a platform or a dais or whatever to step up on. I have a very good friend who used to tell me, I'd love to turn. If I turn over the weekend, I can't do anything until Tuesday because my neck and shoulders hurt so bad. I spent an afternoon with him. I had him standing on a pallet before the end of the day. He thought I was God, really, because his hands got to the right position. And you can't say it's got to be this number, this number, and this number. You know what number it is? Your age. That's it. And
Hey, Brenda,
if you're old and slow,
another thing is going to be the bottom of your elbow is.
That's what I heard. I seen something on
is going to be equal to your
YouTube
spindle.
or something.
Yeah, that's a good starting spot. Anyway.
That's just kind of a rule of thumb.
Yeah, that's a good starting spot. That's what just said. If you get some of the older lathes, do not have adjustable legs. Some of the
Right, mine don't.
No, and mine, my one way doesn't. It just happened to be the right size, and it was a gift. But I was ready to build a ramp if I needed to.
Well, One Way sells their lathes with different heights on it, so you buy it with whatever height you want.
Yeah, but if you get it for free from somebody in an estate sale, you don't get the choice.
Well, you don't get a choice there, but if you order it from them, you do have a choice on the height.
Oh yeah, and they're very good about asking that question and explaining why.
Yeah. If you order it directly from the factory, they actually measure you there. And my lathe was delivered at my exact proper height.
Huh.
You dogs in Canada get that opportunity.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go there, but where's it at?
Ontario.
It's in Stratford, Ontario, which is about an hour and a half away
That's too
from
far
me.
for me to drive.
So yeah, it'd be a bit of a trek, but I mean, you could always try measuring yourself, give them the measurements, and they make the lathe exactly to your height. So when it's delivered, it's at your proper elbow height.
Yeah,
you don't have to fuss around with cranes and lift systems to adjust the legs to get it to your height.
Yeah, and you'd be talking to is it Diane? Is the one of the family that answers the telephone and takes care of all the problems. Well, the elimination before they become problems.
Vanessa's who I talked to recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sister, and then Kevin runs the show.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
That lathe height is so important because one thing about turning several hours at a time, the ergonomics of it is can be very tiresome on you.
Yes.
I've got a Powermatic that I needed just like an inch more. So one thing I got was a piece of 2-inch foam and slid in under my lathe, and I stand on this 2-inch foam, which gives me my right height, and plus, you know, it's really easy on my legs.
Yeah.
If
that
it's
might
too
be the
low,
issue that I had with the Powermatic that I had went to Dennis's and used. He's got a big Powermatic, but he's a lot taller than me, so his was probably it was too tall for me.
Yeah, that is so important. That is so important. Most of the time, I do classes in people's shops, and when we go in there, that's some of the first things that we start to address is with the height of their lathe.
Biomechanics. If it's too low, you're going to be hunched over and have lower back problems, and you'll be sore by the end of the day. If it's too tall, you're going to be up like this, and by the end of the day, you're going to have shoulder and elbow and neck problems.
Right. And the jet that I have now, it was doing some vibrating, you know, when I was doing that big piece of honey locust. So I attached it to a skid. Okay. So it's up off the floor, you know, a couple inches. Well, then there's that 2x4, I guess, across the front of it. And I can't stand, you know, close enough to it without my foot, you know, not being flat. It's up on that hip, that skid.
Tippy toe.
Yeah, that's driving me nuts too. I can't do that.
Yeah, that's,
Well, you can always make a platform for you to stand on around the lathe.
Yeah.
If you wind up with one that's too high.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know,
Just
Brenda,
make
it's
sure you
kind of
take a
funny.
picture
You
of
said that last week, Dane and Kade and I were talking about it, and with my lathe, they asked me what I was working on at the time, you know, during the after hours, and it was actually to raise my lathe up from the workbench that I built it on, because it's only a 1221. It's a mini lathe, and I never would have showed a picture of what I had at the time, because I had it sitting on top of some 2x4s, you know, and I had a little piece of plywood in there at one point, you know, just trying to get it to where it was that right height for me. And then once I found that right height, you know, I went and made some metal brackets and did it. And Dane asked me to take some pictures and show it. And I got a third bracket that I made here because I plan on getting the extension for it. So I went ahead and made 3 of them at the same time. And then without having to take my phone over, I think I can kind of show it here, where I went ahead and put those brackets underneath it, and it made it just the perfect height for me. Now, granted, this is a midi lathe, so it's not a lathe that's you got the legs that sit on the ground. But yes, hopefully Jeffrey's off of here now and it's not a safety moment. But I went through a couple stages of getting my height figured out. And then once I figured out my height, then I made those steel brackets and now I've got it bolted down and it's solid. So it's comfortable level for me now.
makes a difference. Makes a difference, doesn't it, Dan?
Oh yeah, definitely. I've got a bad back from the military. It just kills me. But like I said, I was unsafe in doing it at first to figure out my exact height. And I've got it up high enough. And in that picture, the one thing that I like about it, and I'll show it again, you see that brush underneath it. On that midi lathe, now I can use that brush and get right underneath it. So all them shavings don't just pile up underneath it. So I think it's going to extend the life of that lathe as well. Because anytime you
I
got
actually
a
have to
bench
just pick
lathe,
mine up and move it and sweep underneath.
yeah, because it just gathers everything under it. Now that I've got it raised up about 3.5 inches, that brush comes underneath it and everything is clear. So
Yeah, that and on the mini lathes. On the
You know,
mini
we're
with
not,
the motor underneath of it. It's
yeah,
terrible.
Yeah.
we're supposed to say civil. You people talking about brushes and brooms and vacuum. Come on, straighten up. I mean, didn't we see a little while ago when Kade showed you that if you drop something in your shop and you got a good bit of show, they don't break? I mean, he's a professional turner. He showed us.
Oh no, this is just on the bench, Eddie.
Around the motor. I burnt one up like
Just on the bench. I didn't take a picture of the floor.
Yeah, you sweep it into the floor.
Don't forget to put your sharpener at the right height too.
Yeah.
Yes. True.
Grinder needs to be at the right height. You sharpen a whole lot better if it's at the right height, up high enough for you to see and be comfortable with. If you got to bend over to sharpen stuff, you can have problems with it.
And if you got to reach up, you're going to have more problems.
I learned that one even before I found this club. I had put it on a small cart, and I had to sit down to sharpen tools, and that was not good. So yeah, I've since then raised it. Yeah, this club has been more beneficial to me than any one of y'all would ever recognize or realize.
Second that.
Brenda now knows. Brenda now does not know what to buy.
Yeah.
I'm more
Totally
confused.
Clean
I
it
think
towards
it
the
was-
one way, but I've never seen them.
What?
I
Yeah,
can.
I've never seen
one
them.
way
Well,
is
I've
like a
seen
big-
like in your shop
a
on
big
YouTube's. What?
It's huge. It's a tank.
Yeah, it's a tank.
Luckily,
It's a
it's
big
Rolls-Royce.
missile-looking lathe. It's huge.
Now we've seen one used in Cade's shop. We've seen one used in Trey's shop. I do YouTubes with mine.
Right. I've seen yours in your shop on your YouTubes.
Or I can, I'll go downstairs, switch my camera around, and you can see how big my one-way is.
Yeah.
Well,
Especially
when
Kate, when you do it, do a shot from, you know, way back so you can see the whole lathe. There's a vessel involved with the one-way.
yeah.
I just get a kick out of people to buy a lightweight lathe and want to add sandbags and steel.
Right.
I know.
Well, my
Yeah.
one way,
Just end at the
Build
doorway.
yourself,
Hey, Brenda,
What?
something else you might have to take into consideration. Your shop, where it's going, what type of floor do you have?
Concrete.
Okay. Because
That's
a lot
good.
of people will buy a big lathe and put it on a plywood floor, and it winds up going through the floor.
Or dancing
Yeah.
around.
or they complain
No.
about it vibrating.
So let me
Yeah, I
see.
think Stephen Ogle did that at one point with his big grizzly.
I got a friend of mine,
Right.
in his Clementine, he goes dancing with her every week.
So this is 6.5 feet, 6.5 feet long.
All right, we're not
There it
seeing.
is.
All right,
There, let me spotlight you, Kate.
spotlight him. Nope. Nope.
You're right. Hello.
Oh, never
Hello.
There he is.
There we are.
There it is.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
it's like a
this is-
submarine vessel there.
6.5 feet long. Has this huge tube which absorbs a lot of the vibration. And my tailstock swinger.
yeah, I need one of those.
Oh, they're handy.
The extra switch, which I can put everywhere I need it. It's handy.
Yes.
The on button is in, but the out button is protruded. So if I need be, I can tap it with my knee.
Yep.
I also have all the outboard attachments to do outboard turning, and that would extend my lathe another 4 feet. And I would be able to do 4 5-foot diameter bowls on the outboard.
Yeah.
How
I did
old is
once
that
on my
lathe,
jet, and
Kate?
it was not a good idea.
This lathe is 3.5, 4 years old.
It looks
Before
brand
that,
new.
pardon?
I said it looks brand new.
Yeah, I keep it in good shape. I take care of my stuff so it lasts forever.
Yep.
It doesn't stay too dirty for too long. I got the stainless steel bedway because I do wet turning, and also I didn't want it to rust in any way, so that also keeps it in pristine condition too. I don't have to constantly wax it and finish it and clean it.
It weighs.
Kate, I've
in-
also heard that
pounds.
the banjo is the best on the market. Banjo and tool rest.
Yeah, the banjos are good. They're really handy. They move quite freely. And all you need to do is just, that ain't going anywhere. I don't need to reef on it and put all my weight on this to keep it there. The same with the tool rest. If I hold this, well, here, I'll hold my tool rest. And then all I need to do is pop that down like that. I didn't have to force it. And, oh, there. Now this ain't moving on me.
The tailstock does the same thing. It locks in real tight.
Yep.
In fact, people that have a one-way have a habit of just throwing it in place.
Whoa.
Not that way, but they have a habit of just flipping it instead of hammering it in place because it locks so well.
Yep, just flip
I
it
don't
up.
ever push on mine. I just flip it up and it locks.
I just flip mine and it locks. I
Powermatic
don't even
is the
push on it.
same way.
Yep.
Well,
just
my
flip it up.
friend with a Palletmatic made a mallet so he could lock his because it kept walking on him.
Yeah, my jet, I have to hit
It
it
must
with a
have been an
mallet.
abused one.
No,
Yeah,
he
he
bought
must
it
have.
new.
Yeah, there's something wrong with it then.
I went to a club meeting where they
Still.
couldn't get on their jet. They couldn't get the tailstock from creeping back. And the guy says, I can't understand it. I just cleaned this thing and sprayed it down a little while ago. What do you think he sprayed it with?
Yeah.
E40.
Yep, they loved it. It was a complete, it actually had a coating of the product on it. And they didn't realize that that coating built up a non-slip surface. And once they cleaned it with alcohol, that thing would lock down like you won't believe.
Right.
And I didn't say WD-40.
Here's my small lathe. It's a MIDI lathe, if you can compare, Brenda.
Okay. That's pretty big too.
It's fair size. This is the VS Plus. So I have forward and reverse. I have the motor taped up because I do metal turning in here and aluminum and brass. So I don't want any metal in under the belts or in on the pulleys. This has the swivel head, so I can swivel it, but I can take it to the end and I can do outward turning. Yeah, and I can also attach a bed extension to this as well. So this was really my first lathe and what I used in the beginning. And I did outboard turning, all kinds of turning on this thing. It's still like brand new because I was the only one that uses it. And now it's my student lathe. I have another one of these as well.
Jeez.
Thank you.
And my students only use the generals until they can show me that they're not going to stick a nice sharp tool into my spindle or my spur drive before they can ever even get close to my one way.
Right.
Man.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you sharing that with us. Really nice.
That one way is like his firstborn.
Oh, I know it.
Yeah.
Might as well be.
Weighs
Nice.
850 pounds.
So Cade, do you offer like a Airbnb up there at your place where I can just like stay at your house and be a student at the same time?
Yep, I do.
All right, it'll be in the chat, folks. Can't do that on live, okay? In the chat.
Yeah.
Pretty soon you might have a hard time sleeping with that baby coming.
Yeah,
Yeah, he'll make the,
you got a
he'll make
roommate
his
coming in.
students wake up with the baby.
Yeah, I know. Well, he'll be working in between. It'll be in between, and I'm not gonna baby around the baby. If he's sleeping, I'm working, so he'll be able to sleep through cannonballs and lathe noise, and which will be good because when we go to friends or to family, nap time is nap time. It doesn't matter how loud we're being; they'll be able to sleep.
And if it doesn't work out, put a little bourbon in the milk. That's all.
Okay, do you do nothing but, are you working as a professional wood turner? So that's your job?
Yes, I do it full time, Monday to Friday, 9 to 3.
Okay. Good luck with it. That's a hard life.
I'm doing well. I like it. I'm busy.
Yeah.
I got lots of orders, commissions on the go. A lot of my work's custom. And then I do a lot of teaching and instructing and demonstrating as well.
If you have talent, it will come to you. And you you have got talent, so it will come to you.
Absolutely.
It's just a rough profession to work as a professional in.
It is. I mean, it's a hard go in the beginning. You have to hustle and bustle and work hard and work hard to get there. But then eventually you'll start getting recognized and noticed, and then you don't have to search as hard, and you can start saying no to things you don't want to do. But in the beginning, you almost say yes to everything because you never know when the next job's going to be, right?
Yeah.
But if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. So,
right.
It's nice that way too.
And you don't turn slim lines.
No, I don't do pens. No, I used to.
I know, right? I did too. I used to. I don't anymore.
I used to do a lot of pens because of the cost of the pens and the hardware and the turnaround for what you can sell them for was was great. I mean, and they could sell at craft shows and fairs for a good buck, and you make your
Yeah.
tent and you make some money to go home with. But over the time and just practicing, I got tired of pens and
Yeah.
wanted to move on to bigger and better things, or well, not bigger and better things. I just got more busy doing other things. Yeah.
All right, Joe. Good night. I'm going to watch Seinfeld.
Take care, Ronnie.
Here,
Good
Ronnie.
night, Ronnie.
Is it a new
No
sign?
soup for you.
Is it a new sign show front, Ronnie? Because I might be there too.
Can't say I've ever watched a Seinfeld show. Can't say I ever will either.
Me
Oh,
neither.
I'd pass.
Probably not.
Kinda with you on
Pass.
that, brother.
Hard
Now
pass.
you're missing out.
My heart's
Same with-
broken because the Kardashians are going to go
There's
away.
no
this
way
year.
I'm missing out.
Yes, they're gone.
Good night, folks. Thank you for joining us. It's been 4 hours and we're still chatting about wood turning.
Yeah.
I will see you next week.
You
Trey's
still got
got to
31
drive.
people online.
Yeah, I know. You have command.
Now we're
Trey.
going
Yeah.
after hours.
Night,
We've
Eddie.
been on after.
Good night,
Y'all
guys.
can keep on, you can keep on talking if you want to.
I'm
Well, I'm
gone.
We
going.
Bye.
normally shut down at 9, so we're actually an hour over what Eddie's normally gone.
Yeah.
Night, Eddie. Take
I'm
care.
gonna go too, guys.
Good night,
Yeah,
Kevin.
we get Eddie up past his bedtime.
Yeah, we did.
Good night, Eddie.
Mama son went to bed sooner.
Good night, all.
Good night, everyone.
Not all.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Stay the chat.
I ain't going
Anybody want
anywhere.
to keep on talking, or do you go ahead and shut it down?
Oh, I'm still